Welcome back, said normally and not with a funny voice.
Okay, it's me, gaming, in space.
Gillette shaver guy.
It's called the Turbo Chic Power Man or whatever.
A largy bit of backup.
Yeah. What do you call a juice with chunks in it? Like that's just
A
chunks?
soup?
I want to be in VR in this thing.
Guys, things have gone south in the
bag.
bathroom.
Here on the home front, damn it.
Where would he be without his dog?
No one out there named Dimitri's having sex anytime soon.
Am I just pulling the plug on this thing? Is that...
Hello and welcome to Back Pocket for Thursday, the 13th of April. Nailed it. Coming to you live from the Loki studios tonight, starring Stephanie Ben Dixon. Careful or she'll fire her Gajalahorn? Gajalahorn.
Okay, so I thought it was Yellowhorn, but apparently it's Chalahorn.
She'll fire her Halahorn right at you. Apparently, it's the mini rockets that'll get you. Right, Josh? He knows what it means. And joining Steph, it's Peter Burns. He recently became an uncle, so he'll soon be coming to me for tips on what kind of chocolates work best to make you the favorite uncle, favorite relative. And our special guest today, it's Harry June, everyone. He's the host of The Loot Drop on ABC Gamer, and he spends his days making gaming video content in a small closet at the ABC full of neon lights and funky smells, so I doubt we'll have anything in common to talk with him about. And over on the ones and twos, it's Josh Swift, ladies and gentlemen. And he's been giggling all week about Peter's Peggle 2 jump last week. And is that a wild Will in a spot in the background? Will? Hey!
Oh my god.
That's a
that's
Will
so cool.
I've not seen in a long time. A long time indeed.
Very good.
Very good. And there's also me. Hi, Gus Ronald, the little engine that could. Welcome to the show, everyone. It's going to be a crazy one. Tonight on the show, we ask AI to find us a little bit of news before we meet our maker, who's been saying some pretty weird shit about us inaudibly behind our backs, and all about what we've been looking at on other screens. Pocket Watch is what that segment's called.
I think it should be.
On other
I'm
screens,
just going to say
Pocket Watch.
No. I think
Watch.
it should just be called Pocket Watch.
But Pocket Watch,
But that's not a thing.
parentheses.
What do you think?
Wait, what's the contention?
We'll
Why-
find
why-
out. It used to be a segment called Pocket Watch.
Okay.
Which was the idea of like if we watch something.
It wasn't
Yeah.
a segment. It was a separate show.
It's a podcast.
It was a podcast.
It's a podcast.
Okay.
And then we decided to come up with a segment called On Other Screens, which we'll do later in the show.
Correct.
Where you and the rest of us will talk about what we've watched on other screens. And then the animation still includes the Pocket Watch, which confuses the fuck out of us all.
I see.
So it's
just
Will's fault.
all...
I think
If at any point you get really bored, you can just leave.
It all goes downhill from here.
Dolphin Pants calling out how well you captured Harry's hair in the pockety version you did.
Well,
of him.
I'd say
You
so.
have
Can we get a clap?
excellent
Can we get a
hair.
little claps? But now you've gone with the wispy. Like you had the
Well,
flick back.
I got a perm from Korea, so
a perm from
Wait,
Korea.
actually?
a bit of a K-pop situation. Yeah.
Right.
Thank
Because
you.
your press shots all
Do
have
you
the
curl
witch.
at all, or is it natural?
No, this is the person put a bunch of chemicals in my hair,
Okay.
and I had to sit there for 3 hours.
Right, so
and
this isn't a look. This stays this way.
this
like,
stays pretty much, yeah. But it smells so bad.
Can I have a smell?
No, it's
Are you sure?
It smells like like the perm chemicals.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm very self-conscious about it. But
How
thanks for bringing it up.
How long does it last?
Oh, I don't even know. I didn't ask. I was too
I'm
scared.
pretty sure it lasts until your hair grows out. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I can't tell if that was a happy or a sad. That
No,
was
I love
like
it.
fear
His hair
and
What about how
happiness.
long does the smell last? Because honestly,
probably the biggest problem.
I really hate it.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
If I smell it, can I smell it now and then once more at the end of the show and tell you if it's getting any better
Yeah,
or
okay,
worse?
let's
Give
do
that
it.
a little,
But-
like, yeah.
and be honest. You smell the chemicals?
It smells like shampoo and beautiful.
Like shampoo and beautiful.
That's nice.
Wow.
I'm getting a little fructus. It's a little gummy here. Happening in
It
there.
does. It smells like a heavy moisturized shampoo.
But isn't
like
it chemically?
No.
There's a chemical tang
He's
to
being
it.
polite.
It might just be though when you're showering, like the steam from the shower, like
like
exacerbates
sensual.
Maybe it's the
it.
fact that you're stuck with it while we get nice wafts of it from time to time.
I have-
You wake up and it's on your pillow.
I've
Yeah.
looked into. So did you? Is it making your hair more
it's
movement.
a way. They called it a digital S-wave perm.
That's cool.
Sounds,
I would have paid for that too without
sounds like a
knowing what it is.
Cybertron
I'll take
Transformers thing.
Yeah.
Because
I'll
perming
take it.
solution is actually the same thing as straightening solution. It's just,
What?
It just sets your hair. So what you do when you get it chemically straightened is you put the perming solution in it, and then they blow dry it, and then they flat iron it like 4 times, and then it stays that way. But everyone talks about the smell. But I can't do it because my hair is bleached and it'll all break off.
Surely it's worth it though, like, because is this just like set and forget? Like, do you get bed hair anymore, or
I
it's just
wake up and I do that, and then I put product in it.
And then you take, do you do that? Do you
Yeah.
take, do you take your glasses off and do that? And someone goes, Harry, I never noticed you before. Give us closer.
Kiss me.
Yeah, exactly. And then you come down the stairs and Chris Evans is at the bottom of the stairs every
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
He's like, what's that smell? Whoa, chemical. So speaking of Korea, I thought it'd be. I got you
You
guys
got us all hair
Korean
kits
snacks.
to do.
Oh, that's
Shit.
awesome. Thank
So
you.
What are these?
you guys know Pocky?
Yep.
Yes.
This is the Korean Pocky, and it's called pepero.
Pepero.
Oh my
Sounds
god,
that sounds
is
Spanish.
that is a heaps more fun name.
It's because it's onomatopoeic because you bite it. Peperos.
oh yeah.
It's
We have to make that noise when
basically
we bite
yeah,
it?
yeah. So you got it.
Amazing.
One of those and have
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Do you have one for yourself? Can I share?
Pepero.
I've had too many.
Okay.
Is it sweet, or is it going to be one of those like
Have
other
you-
country foods that you go, oh, and it's like, no, this is spinach or something
it's
flavored.
Like
and it
it's like
throws
a
you off.
balut egg.
Oh,
Getting
No, it's crunky chocolate. You know crunky chocolate bars?
Crunchy?
Oh yeah.
That's that,
little
but
bubbles.
except
it's like Cocoa Pops on a stick.
yeah.
Like bubbled rice in the chocolate.
That's right.
Yeah. What's the bar? What's the blue bar?
Crunky.
Is it crunky?
It's called crunky.
Isn't it just?
crunky?
I think it's just crunch. Or is that like a Western? Or is that like our version of it? Just crunch bar,
Yeah, there's
right?
crunch. Yeah.
But is this the same thing? Are we thinking about the same thing though?
I think so.
White flat blue bar with a white stripe in the
And a
middle.
little
It says
rice
yeah.
puffs?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
You
it's
may
Have I
crunchy.
been
You may have just been
misreading
Am
deleting
I
an H.
mispronouncing
from the
crunchy?
word.
And I'm like, CH, that's a hardcore. Crunky bar. You know the crunky bars?
Oh,
Delicious.
Crunchy is different apparently.
Oh.
Crunchy exists.
Well, this
Thank you,
says crunky.
Multifish.
This says crunky on it.
With a K.
He's right.
Thank you. Validated by
Yeah.
spelling.
Yeah.
I feel very good about it.
Now I'm
says
going to go and
crunky.
check everything. I'm going to be like, it's Crunky Nut Cornflakes. I've
This
been
is
fucking it up for
addictive.
so long.
Also,
Ew.
the fact that we can swear.
Oh,
Oh.
right.
Yeah.
Have you got anything inside that you just want to release?
Give it a go.
For people who don't know Harry, he is a comedian, but also does a bunch of stuff with ABC Gamer.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
Do
How
it.
do you really feel about those kids?
Poo. I don't know. It feels weird.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Take it back.
Tone it down.
Oh,
Tone it
stop,
down.
stop.
Tone it down. Come on.
No, that's
But yes,
fucking
you're
sick.
the host of the Loot Drop on ABC Gamer, and you've been
Yep.
doing that for a year or so now.
Since March last year.
Yep.
And it's been such a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Super fun. I've never done, because stand-up comedy, I've done that for like 6 years now. If you muck up, like when you're live, it's fine. You just say a line wrong. I was at the dentist. Sorry, fucking dentist. And
Was
it
it the
pe-
crunky?
The
Oh, the
crunky
crunchy, the
dentist.
crunchy, the crunchy. You riff on it, but
Don't.
when they got the recording the camera, you fuck up a take. They're like, no,
Yeah.
no.
That's so interesting because for me, it's been reverse. Like I've gone from broadcast TV where you could just
Do another
do
take.
another take all the time to like live streaming. It was
Do
really
they not let you do other takes?
hard.
Yeah, Dan's just
take,
like,
just one and
he
done.
goes up to me, he's like, don't fuck this up. And then he presses the record button.
It's been a super.
And then he's chirpy as.
There's 100 others
Have a
just
great
like
day,
you. We could
everyone.
replace you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It's been a super weird and interesting adjustment to also just be able to speak like off the cuff in a way that isn't just a long rambling stretch of my brain. And I feel like I can imagine how it'd be going in the reverse would feel super restrictive.
Yeah, because you feel so self-conscious, like your little ticks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I hate washing myself back as well for stand-up.
yeah,
like
I hate it, yeah.
You did this.
Even just then, that noise as well. That's committed. That's
yeah.
just going to be on the internet forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the half.
There's going to be a supercut of every moment Harry went.
Can you guys? Can chat clip that up for us,
No.
please, and we'll keep that for later.
Thanks, guys.
It's
great to be here.
But I guess you find someone saying, "Oh, look, try it again, but in a different way," or something like, yeah, that's completely different to the flow you would have.
Well,
usually.
okay. This is so the whole like doing a test screen thing and like being told
Yeah.
feedback from someone.
Smile more.
Yeah, smile. Oh, give it a bit more energy. and then I'm already like here. I thought I'm like
Yeah.
a bit more energy.
Yeah. And then no,
funny.
no, bring it down. You're like,
Yeah,
what are they doing?
I don't know
We're
what's
too
in
far.
between
We
those two things.
overcorrected.
Yeah.
Can we just? How about no energy? And
Yeah.
We had a thing on Spawn Point where they would say like, give it more energy, and you already thought you were at like 11,
That's
right?
it. Yeah.
We'd just go louder and with your mouth more open. So
And it was just literally
The
So,
micro
hot
adjustments.
tip.
Yeah, the micro adjustments.
it was just like, okay, I'll do the line again.
or listening with
Coming
energy.
up after the break.
It's not human. You're like,
And then listening with energy. It's like, because
Yeah.
you can't just sit there and politely nod. You've got to be like,
That's what. So that's what
quirky
I'm.
little looks
I'm
at the
learning.
camera and
I'm
stuff,
learning that
yeah.
now because I'm on Ask SP for GGSP
Yeah,
with
with
Gem.
Gem.
Shout out to Gem. Love
Hey.
Gem. But the list, because when I'm on camera for listening, when you listen in everyday conversation, your face is
Totally, yeah.
this is real. But you got to be like,
Yeah, because if I was telling you a story and you were making that face at me, I'd be like, you seem a little insincere.
or
I don't know that I
distracted.
believe
Like,
that you're listening to
I'm
this
thinking of a
story.
better story in my head. Like, oh yeah. It's
you will
so,
listen to me describe Minecraft and you will not fucking move. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then again, in reverse, I feel like I was always used to seeing myself look really like engaged.
Yeah.
And then I came and started doing stuff on Twitch for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I watch it back and I just look dead.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's how people are, though.
Yeah.
That's just how
We're all
people
dead.
are.
We're all
all
at least
dead
a little
inside.
bit dead.
Yeah.
At least a little bit dead.
but Chas used to seeing dead, so they're cool with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Very good.
So relax.
Yeah.
Dead faced, swear, do whatever
Say
you
poo
want.
again.
Say poo again if you feel like it.
Feces.
We're all
Oh.
When it gets scientific, it gets a bit too gross.
Yeah.
A bit too full on. Yeah.
Oh, we're going to
got
get
too
Gem on as well
technical.
at some point as
Yeah.
well.
Totally.
Hell yeah.
Scheduling and stuff like that. So
We
that'll be
shall.
awesome.
But we're thrilled to have you on the show. And yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. We're going to.
It better be.
Well, better be funny, Mr. Comedian.
Holy shit.
Only one take. It's a
Holy
live stream.
We'll kick things off now with a little bit of backup, a little bit of news, a little bit of backup.
Don't reverse too quickly. Oh!
One day I'll redo it. And that's it. And he'll just drive to work. It'll go for
Insurance.
20 minutes.
Did it say
I
Vengabus?
think it needs.
It's the Vegabus.
Vegabus.
It
One of
needs
our patrons.
a stronger music intro because there's always a lull, and then we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
We're anticipating the
That's
crash.
it's the loudest fucking like like
Do it
you
better.
want.
I guess we don't hear it.
It's the drop. It's the like when he hits it like kicks in.
Okay,
It's the
DJ.
drop.
You're like,
It's
oh,
the
it's the
come
drop,
on.
bro. Wait for the
Like,
drop.
wait for it, it's kicking in, man.
You are the Darude of your craft for sure.
Okay, the little bit of backup is brought to us by EvilSpyBoy. So kind of EvilSpyBoy to use this opportunity to bring some generosity to Food Bank Australia. You can donate to Food Bank at foodbank.org.au and help out on behalf of EvilSpyBoy. Very, very kind. And thank you for being a patron of the show. You're amazing.
EvilSpyBoy gets a 15% cut of every donation to Food Bank Australia.
Oh, what a twist.
That is evil.
It's a
That
good
is
setup.
evil. Lives up to his namesake, though. So there you go.
Okay, so a little bit of backup this week. We've got a Kotaku article from Sissy Zhang. This one kind of controversial in a broader sense. Fans are already revolting against AI that makes their games feel cheap and soulless. Who would have thought? NetEase? Is that the name of this company?
NetEase.
NetEase.
Oh,
They make easy net.
sure.
They make being on the net easy.
How
Exactly.
easy. Tencent and Hoyoverse have all been criticized for adapting AI in their games. A combination of AI adaptation and regulatory setbacks have reportedly caused illustration jobs to decrease by 70%, which companies increasingly are relying on Dolly and Midjourney to produce fast and cheap assets for video games. Obviously, benefiting
But
from
it's
this.
so easy. Sorry, I'm going
know.
to start with the controversial one, which is that like, yeah.
Gus, do your bit, and then we'll shit on you for the
No,
next 5 minutes.
yeah. The AI thing is totally like justifiably controversial. I'm trying not to get distracted by a puppet. Yeah, AI being used is a new technology and it's moving way too quick and everyone's playing catch up. And I think particularly in some of like, I think text generation and stuff, no one's really getting too upset about that because it's harder to see the accredited material that the AI is scraping from. But I think in particular with design work, it's like there have been sort of artists have pinpointed out elements of their art that they have almost spotted in the way that these AIs have been fed their artwork, that then they reproduce elements of it. Which you can't, it's hard to like say directly that's mine, but these artists are therefore losing out on the fact that it's their work being attributed, or not attributed, because this AI is just like turning it into some sort of Frankenstein's monster version of their art. So it's like, it's a quick fix and it's putting a lot of people out of.
So it's so interesting. I wonder if there's a world in which it can be done ethically, in that like, the other day I saw people sharing again those, those little avatar creators, like those Pick Crew avatar things. Have you seen those?
Yep.
And like they've popped up every now and again. And I suddenly saw one the other day and I was like, how is that different? And then I realized this is something that someone has created with all of their own art and like consensually allowed you to create something based on assets that they are giving. And then there's a thing that's like, you can't use this for like commercial purposes.
Right.
Oh, they put that in there to protect.
At the start now, it's like avatar on social media is okay. Like personal usage, any advertising or commercial stuff, like not okay.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, okay. So maybe there's like a world in which a form of it can exist if someone is being able to, share their assets and get a monetary.
There's a voluntary pool that's put in, but you're never going to get the same level of how well it's advancing until that happens. Like at the moment, it's scraping millions and millions and millions and millions of images and artwork.
And it's not ideal, and it's not like paying an artist to do the work. But if it's like, if this is a direction that we're going in and we can't stop it, like, is that the path to go down where it's like?
The end to my little thing of my version of it is that I've started tinkering with it for laborious background work that I'm like, I'll still do character design, but it's like I've mentioned on the show, I got it to do a few background plates. This very segment we're watching, the car park in the background was from an AI one. And it's literally like
3 weeks time he won't be here. It'll be an AI representative.
He'll have a robot girlfriend. Me, Shirley.
It was very easy to use, and I'm like, I can see it as a slippery slope. And yeah, if the better it gets and the more it can be used for the grunt work, I think is the idea. I'm assuming in the video game world, that's what they're using it for.
Yeah.
Starts with grunt work though, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Starts with a pixel. You know, like, I'll just get Rob the AI to do a pixel.
You named it?
Then then 400 pixels later, that's a game, mate.
Yeah. That's 399 other pixels.
And who owns that game? Rob.
You wouldn't steal a pixel.
We're back at that photo that the orangutan took of itself with that dude's camera.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
he hit the
credited
shutter
for it.
Yeah.
That's a good point. The age-old orangutan photo.
It. It's crazy stuff. Well, the AI, so I saw this show when I was at Melbourne Comedy Fest. This comedian.
We get it, you're a comedian. Holy shit.
Okay, so I was at the dentist. But this comedian did, I can't say who, but did a set written by AI. And this is what the crazy thing was. This comedian didn't say it was done by AI.
Until it was all...
Got laughs.
What?
Got laughs.
Of course it did.
But like, all of us are backstage like, this AI would never... And then crushing.
Really?
Interesting.
Oh man, maybe.
Oh my god.
That's interesting. I've seen I sent Peter the other day a TikTok of like a group of people who acted out a sketch that was written by AI. And it was like a really long. Oh, and then I think that the criteria they put into it was like, write a comedy sketch with a twist at the end.
Sure.
And it was like, the setup was so fucking long, and it was just like, you know how like AI does this thing where it kind of repeats things, and it kind of feels weirdly like cyclical. And
it's
then,
like reading a dream sometimes. You're like, I get this, but it feels off. But
and it's because it's trying to mimic a natural conversation, but it's not quite getting there. And then the twist at the end was like, someone was dead, but it delivered the twist in a way that didn't make sense because the person who died was the person who said someone is dead. So like, they were reading the script.
Stupid AI.
They were lying down. I'm like, wait.
But that's also so sad. Yeah. It's like they're the main character, but no one noticed. Yeah. Like, someone's dead, guys. Someone's dead. Hello. I died.
Yeah. I only just realized as well, speaking of like the art creation stuff, mildly controversial, not controversial. EvilSpyBoy in the Discord played around with putting
a little bit controversial,
putting their own images into their their closed AI learning.
Okay.
So experimented with it by putting only select photos into their one, so it wasn't scraping from other elements.
Oh, okay. So
And
you're,
then it
you're
was-
only stealing from yourself.
And then, well, yeah, but then you could
Or a
argue,
curated selection.
yeah.
Presumably you have approval to use all of it.
And
Yeah,
again,
sure.
they were photos, but like, say I just sat down doing lots of different pocketies and I fed them all into my closed version of it. And then I went later on, I want to make a pockety wearing a crazy hat or something. And I've been drawing hundreds of hats, hundreds of pocketies, hundreds of things like that. It's like, that's my artwork. And I think it's just, that's where the gray area that we're never really going to crack straight away because it's moving too fast is going, because it's like currently AI is just catching everything and dragging it in. Whereas like, I think if you could...
MiddleCee says, I saw a thing that the biggest flaw with AI is it'll always rely on imperfect instructions from people. So does that mean we need an AI to be able to
To
instruct
write the
the
instructions.
AI?
Oh,
Oh no.
Whenever I think about AI, I start at the end and I go, ultimately, humans don't want to do day jobs, right? Like, ultimately,
is true.
society is something that we go and do things that give us satisfaction and not go and do boring shit for some other asshole who's way richer than us. And so I'm like, if this is a tool that gets some industries to that place, that would be, and this is an idyllic kind of solution, because the reality is AI takes jobs, they don't get paid anymore, the rich keep getting rich off the tool, and culture falls apart.
Yeah.
Then the
Society falls apart.
AI start to
Uprising.
think like
They're the
we-
middle class
That's right.
suddenly.
They're like, hang on, I'm
Are
working.
they mooching off? Yeah.
I'm not getting paid. And then it becomes a cycle. Like
yeah.
we
Yeah.
are the.
Yeah.
Then we start taking the AI jobs.
That's right.
Because
Then-
people are like, oh, we're going back to the old, like, hands-on approach. But the thing that, like, as a starting point, I'm like, and this is probably offensive to coders and stuff, but I know people who work in software development and who have used it they've written a piece of software and they know there's a bug in the code somewhere. It's 500 lines of code. They can chuck it into ChatGPT and say, this code is breaking in this way, find the bug. Finds it in a second.
Wow.
That's 3 hours of work of someone reading their code, trying to like go back
That's
through old code.
efficiencies, yeah.
It's an efficiency, right? I look at that and I go, that's great. That's just saved that person a bunch of time. But as soon as it enters the realm of, and this is again biased, as soon as it enters the realm of
creativity.
any kind of creativity,
Yeah.
I think it needs to fuck off.
Yeah. totally.
Yeah, because that sounds like someone just made their own Google search. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Google, but I love looking. Just you ever type some weird shit. Anyway, but
I love search engine.
I typed
Yeah.
today.
Well, we know what the
Oh.
post show is now. It's just your history.
Your search
Yeah.
history.
Oh,
Today,
got
I
some
typed
fuck
into
shit.
Google, like not 30 minutes ago, what is the sluttiest emoji?
hell yeah. Wait, what was the answer?
What's the answer?
Post show.
But when you start talking about like that's just searching something,
Yeah.
But you're asking someone to be like
It's using a tool to do some laborious work.
the admin shit.
Yeah, I mean, in this scenario, it was a developer apologized because part of a poster they were creating for Alchemy Stars, a game, was produced by.
People spotted it.
So yeah, and then they've come out.
They recognized elements from the poster of
Really, it was
they've-
that telling. Like it was.
Well, they've come out and apologized and said they're going to do their design
Alchemy Stars.
on stream now or something, just to like have someone actively watch over the process. I think they promised to stream the drawing process.
accountability. They're like, we're now going to make all of our art live so you can know that it's not fake.
Oh,
Okay, but here's
God.
one. The other week, I was going to do StarCraft Ghost as an image, and there weren't big enough screenshots. So I took a screenshot of the game, and then I did extensions on the side of it so I could clip it that made it look like the game was in 16:9.
Like you did content-aware film.
Content, like, because that's what it does as well. And it was using the image I had and extending it, like,
Wait,
but
you
it's
did
still.
that with AI?
Yep. You can basically extend artworks
Just
using the reference
use
picture.
Google.
So use Google. All right. So again, I'm just saying.
Google, can you make this picture wider?
Google-
I,
fix
nah,
my
I,
picture.
sometimes I go like if I need a dog facing left, Google.
That's
You know
where
what
I
I
would
mean?
go.
Nah, and
That
that's,
is where I would go.
that's,
They only look
that's
right, though.
safe because that's within like you know what I mean. Like that's just someone's photo
Yeah.
that
I
they
remember-
put up on the internet.
If creative want to go into any AI, any DALL-E now and just do dogs looking right to really fuck with Harry, go for
Ju-
it.
just
How's
let me- let
how's
me-
Harry gonna go when he finds out that Google are making their own version of GPT called Bard?
Oh, there it is.
And you're never gonna know.
Google, my beloved little small Google.
I remember back in the like early days of digital art, because I loved, I was so big into fantasy, and I would like search. I'd like Google search like digital art, like fantasy backgrounds to put on my desktop on my like CRT monitor. And I found this incredible Swedish artist called Linda Bergqvist, and she was one of the sort of digital artists that really, I don't want to say pioneered, but you know all those magazines that you see of like
Hell
Photoshop
yeah.
magazines and stuff that had like digital art on them that were specifically to show what the like best digital art is. Like she was always in the cover of those, like her art was anyway. And she ended up being kind of like run off the internet because people found out that she had been incorporating elements of like photographs into some of her digital art, which is now common practice.
Totally, yeah.
But at the time, people were like,
That's not created by you, therefore that's not digital art. That doesn't fit under the category.
And it was like that one of those kind of internet takedowns where people just kind of launched on her, and she would use it for like maybe like similar stuff like trees in the background, or she was still hand painting,
doing
things.
The core bit of the artwork.
Totally,
She was
all
using
by
a
hand
reference?
with a Wacom tablet.
I think she was putting the references in.
She was using the
like-
dog facing left in the background
And
to
then she-
fill the
and then she-
park
and then
out.
she'd
She
paint
drew
over
the
it.
park.
Okay.
But she was like, it needs a dog
Thank
facing
you.
left.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. In the context of dogs facing left.
Like, yeah,
and
she can paint a
she'd
tree.
paint over it, but like it was
I
like
could paint a fucking tree.
Yeah.
I think the
talking
interesting
like-
there is that now that wouldn't be seen as controversial as you're saying it was, and is in what we're talking about today is like, are the goalposts constantly shifting?
Totally,
And like, I agree, we're all kind of ethically on the same page. Well, maybe I've just turned the page, but
I
it's
think
like,
I'm reading a different book. I'm getting so confused. But
and
yeah.
we're probably going to see more examples like this one, I think.
I've
in
still
terms
not
of,
used ChatGPT.
Me neither. I feel.
I'm scared.
Do you know
of
what
it.
it's great
it-
for? Great for
scared of
killing
it.
time with your parents because it blows their fucking mind.
I've given commands to other people to put into it. Like I've kind of like
Peter, do ChatGPT
like
for me.
what would you call that? It's like I'm secondhand participating in it.
Yeah.
It makes me feel okay about it.
Yeah.
But I've not done it myself, and I think it's because like I do a lot of writing and creative writing in my work and life and stuff like that, and I'm scared that it'll be better than me, and then it's gonna be like a drug that I can't stop using.
I think that's such a legit. It's like why also sometimes like you love watching, let's say if you're a filmmaker, you love watching films, but then when you start to have this encyclopedic knowledge of all these films, so many you're pulling from, suddenly you create a scene that you think is yours.
Yeah.
Turns out it's something else. If you start using that ChatGPT all the time, it's like, nah, I just copy pasted that.
vicariously-
Yeah, and it's not my own.
Slippery slope, man.
Yeah, no. Because our
Slippery
imperfections
slope.
in the stuff that we make it unique and cool.
Oh,
Totally.
but do you know what it can do? Really good imperfections.
No.
As well. No, I'm just saying, like that's it'll learn that.
It does do bad imperfections. It still does the finger thing.
Still does
But
lots
it
of
does
fingers.
There's like
And
8
teeth,
fingers
and
on
teeth.
every hand.
Yeah.
Does
Fingers
it do
and
the
teeth.
thing like they spell receive wrong like I do? Like
Receive?
I before
R-E-
E, accept and receive.
IEVE.
Fuck, then where does it go? That doesn't help at all. Receive, I
After.
before E, accept and receive.
Yeah, except after C.
R-E-E.
The thing
Yeah,
is,
REC. Yeah.
I-E-V-E.
Yeah,
See,
there it
ChatGPT.
is.
Try to do that. Try to spell
Try
that
to
right.
fucking do that.
Or
Chat
wrong.
GPT.
I already forgot.
Draw a receipt,
Solved.
Dali.
we have another really cute story that I just want to chuck in
Lighter
at the
news.
end. Chuck in at the end just because it's sweet. 96-year-old Janine and 85-year-old Gilbert won a Wii bowling LAN in France this weekend.
What?
You did not need to tell
my
us their
God.
ages when you
Yeah.
said their names.
There's no.
Janine and Gilbert?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're naughty.
Those young teenage whippersnappers.
What? This rules.
Oh my
Wow,
It's
it's
fucking nuts.
huge.
We didn't like we've not had that many people at the fucking Fortnite thing in Melbourne.
I know.
The gamers
Like Wii
assembly.
bowling going off.
Holy crap.
Look how happy they are.
crazy.
Look at their uniform.
Oh, Janine
That
and
is so
Gilbert.
cute.
And here's
Oh, they
the
got a-
trophy.
Oh, they got a trophy. It's
They're
got a
almost
Wii
not
remote
able
in
to
it.
lift
I
it.
know.
Trophy?
Look how sick that
That trophy is a work of art.
That's so good.
The real sweet part about it was these guys are here representing their retirement village.
Amazing.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Now put them back in.
That's wholesome.
Yeah, they're going back with a trophy though.
Yeah, that's
This
true.
one
Super
goes out to
wholesome.
Gladys and the girls.
Watered down white wine for everyone tonight. That's so
Well
done,
lovely.
Janine.
If it was France, were they French or were they? Was it like an international thing? I wonder.
I think it was. They're French.
It was
French.
A French national competition.
Cute.
Yeah.
So they're going to go to internationals now.
Yeah, they might make the...
They made
They
it.
might be Olympic.
That's pretty
They
sick.
move up
Yeah.
to Wii U. What was the Wii U one? It was like Nintendo Town games or whatever that one was.
Had
Yeah.
to do with the next game.
It's a me-
So that
Miiverse,
goes-
yeah.
The last one's Switch Sports and everyone
Then I
sucks.
was like 1-2 switch, and they're like, "This sucks. I don't want. I don't know how many ice cubes
They're
are
just
in this
milking
I
a
want to see
cow.
Janine doing the hot dog eating.
I'm sure Gilbert wants to as well. Anyway,
Janine has seen some shit.
Yeah, man. Janine knows what's up.
Yeah.
oh man, that's so
let's go,
cute.
Let's go to what we've been playing.
She's broken. Look at these thumbs, Harry.
Oh my! What did AI make that?
The
Sorry.
guests don't understand that there weren't good thumbs there before, so they just think that's
No one
standard thumb
understands
work.
that. I don't know why we
Yeah.
do
I
the
animated the thumbs, so I was pretty happy with that. Didn't
Yeah.
need any IAA. What have we been playing?
Except after C.
Except after C.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about what we've been playing this week. I'm going to start.
Sponsored by.
Go for it.
You should.
Oh, it's sponsored. It is sponsored by BuriBuri.
Hey.
BuriBuri is one of our oldest
Lawyers.
in terms of duration,
like,
not
careful.
age.
She's
Still- she's no Janine.
no Janine.
Yeah,
She's no Janine.
No, Janine.
But also probably won't be winning any bowling competitions anytime soon. But maybe
don't-
some
we don't know that.
lawyering competitions. I've got a fun law for you.
Okay.
It may not still be in effect, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. In Salt Lake City, famously in the state of Utah,
Utah.
Mormon.
Is that a?
Is that what this is?
No, I didn't know that. Is
Wait,
that
were
where the
you trying
Mormons
to
are from?
pre-guess the law?
Yeah.
They need more
Mormons.
men.
It's illegal for Mormons
Oh.
and anyone
All right.
to walk down the street carrying a violin in a paper bag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you get that?
I know this one.
Okay.
Wait, what's the question? Is it true or false? Or are we
I'll
You gotta
allow it.
say-
It's a law. It's
Yeah.
it's
law
a
or lie?
law.
Oh,
or lie.
are we guessing if it's a law or a lie?
It's
No,
a
but
law.
that's a
but you
really
can-
good segment.
You can guess.
It's a lie?
No, it's a law. I told you.
I'm so ashamed to lose this first version of this
In a
game that we've ever made.
In a paper
What
bag.
is,
Law
what
or
is
lie?
the significance of Mormons and violins and paper bags?
There's nothing to do with Mormons. You added Mormons, and I let you have it.
I know
Wait, so
that
it's not Mormon specifically?
No, it's Mormons or anyone.
Mormons are good at
But
music.
Mormons wasn't a part of the law.
No.
How do you two function day to day?
I want to know more about these violinist Mormons. Just like bring a paper bag.
It's often like someone did that, and it's specifically about one instance where violin in paper bag was an issue.
Like it
Wait, have
fucked. Like it lit
Yeah.
on
It must
fire.
have caused something, a lit a fire.
Yeah,
It, like something
yeah.
went off, and they were like, "Well, we just have to stop this.
Is it like
Stop this out of
Let's,
the."
yeah,
Maybe-
let's backwards map this.
maybe in the 30s when this was law?
Yeah.
Salt Lake City, Utah, had a music store, and it
This
made
isn't-
its sales and put the instruments that it sold in a paper bag.
I think it bootlegged violins.
So someone walking around with a violin in a paper bag was like, "Did you buy that?" And it's like, "No, this is mine from home, and I just brought it in my paper bag." It's like, we can't do that because the store on the main street in Salt Lake City, Utah, sells violins in a paper bag, and it's confusing
thought-
because we don't have receipts yet because it's the 30s.
This
I
is
thought it was
fucking
going to be
confusing.
like
as
a gangster
yeah.
thing. Like they used to put guns in violin cases.
True.
That's pretty good too.
You know what I mean?
But a paper bag is like, with the silhouette is like, I wonder what it could be.
What about-
I wonder what object
bicycle?
that could be.
You say that, but what about if it's during Prohibition era and a lot of people with brown bag bottles to like, you know, take them out and not know what you're drinking?
Mate,
out of?
I see those
And
tuning
then,
pegs
hang on,
sticking out the
but
top.
then you've
I'm
got
pretty
a
sure.
violin in one. It kind of has a bottle shape to it, and they're like, "Oh, he's drinking."
I don't think that's true.
What?
Prohibition era, you were not allowed to consume alcohol.
Yeah, so people would have put them in brown bags.
no, but if it's in a brown bag, it's clearly fucking alcohol.
well, it could be a
Why are
violin.
you
It could be a
hiding it?
violin.
Okay, who's drinking violins, guys?
Because it's got the neck, you know?
Long neck.
I think initially when you said this, I thought it was a tote bag with handles. But now that I'm thinking about
It's
it
a
with the liquor
paper
thing,
bag.
it's a paper bag and it could be, you know, wrapped around the shape of the violin and it could look like alcohol.
How-
Prohibition era. I think you're onto something.
And it's just
No.
confusing. They're diluting the drinkers and the violins.
I was about to
They're like
laugh
cops
at you,
are out there going,
and I was like,
which
that's
one's a violin and
ridiculous.
which one's a violin?
You're thinking about paper bags with the bottles. They're about like paper bags are about that big, yeah.
Yeah.
Violins are like this, so we're
You
talking
measured
like
you
a
measured
fit.
one that way and one that way.
The shoulders of the violin are sticking out.
Yeah.
yeah, it's so big.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
way.
So that's a cello, and you're like,
Standard paper bag size could have been very different back then.
That's
we don't
That's true. We weren't around then to test the
And
standard.
I reckon you could mistake
paper bag size.
a violin for like a
There's
big,
no fucking
a big
way.
long neck.
Let's move on.
I imagined it was
Get
like.
to the concert and put a long
Wait
neck
a
over their
minute.
shoulder and go. Oh, fuck,
I
fuck,
thought
fuck.
it was a situation where like it's a school and kids are all like, eating lunch and stuff. It's like, well, what
Yeah.
did you have? What do you
And
have?
it's like-
And this kid gets his paper bag. Fuck violin
My
again.
father's viola. It's my father's viola again.
Yeah, like, you suck, dude.
Had the wrong lunch.
Yeah.
We've discovered with all of these, we can boil them down to it's a stupid American law because
True.
they came up with stupid ones in the past, and it might still
There
be
are
legal
stupid
now.
laws everywhere.
That's true.
There are stupid
That is
laws
true.
everywhere. But specifically in Utah, there are a lot of bad ones. I played a game this week called Everspace 2. It's a space action RPG. And it's kind of an open world, but I joke that it's more of an open system because you're never on world. You're never on world. It kind of sets you up as, and you may have recognized that I said 2, or he's in. This is a sequel, but the original Everspace was a roguelike game, and you don't need to have played it, and you don't really need to know anything about it coming into Everspace 2, which is much more of a narrative action RPG. You start as a clone, and that's kind of the link. In the first game, it was clones doing runs. You are one of those clones who has escaped, stolen...
You got out of the roguelike.
You got out of the roguelike, and now
Amazing.
you're basically a mercenary with a really slick military ship.
Cool.
And it starts you out kind of protecting this corporation doing mining on an asteroid. And as they're digging up minerals, they get attacked, and you learn the combat that way. The whole game is really built around the fun of the dogfight.
It's all ship combat.
All ship-to-ship combat.
Yep,
You
cool.
never leave it. You do land on stations. So after this initial kind of conflict, you flee with other members of this group, and you end up at a space station that you're building up and upgrading. And so you're kind of building a hub in the big system to kind of take back more and more of it and kind of plant your foot as a kind of a military power. I'm not heaps of the way through it, but you're kind of just building up a name for yourself and trying to kind of carve out a bit of the system for yourself to live comfortably in. The whole thing basically needs to work around interesting combat, and it's fun and arcadey, and there's some cool movement systems. Lots of like dashing and avoiding, and it really sings because the parties of ships that you fight are all different. There's combat ships like you, but there's also sniper ships that kind of attack you from really far away, and you see their laser beams kind of honing in on you, and then boom, fire, so you got to dash, jump out of the way. There's ones that if they zip up close to you, they've got a tractor beam, so they kind of pull you away from, you kind of lose a bit of control, so you then got to go and focus them. So the combat is really about, I see what's in front of me, I know which ones I want to target first. I want to probably try and take out the sniper first, and then the tractor beam guys before I focus on the other ships that are coming in and doing passes on me as well.
So it's
Like a
not built
methodical. Whoa, this looks crazy. Are those all ships?
Yeah.
Those greens and reds?
The greens are allies and reds are baddies.
Is there friendly fire?
It doesn't seem to be friendly fire.
Man, this is like one of those. I played Naboo Starfighter, and I like same thing in terms of the. It's not realistic, and we don't know what realistic is because it's a mercenary ship space game. But like, if it feels more fun than confusing to pitch and roll and yaw and be like, like because people found that with Rogue something recently.
Oh, the Star Wars one.
Star Wars one
Squadron.
recently.
Yeah.
Did
Rogue.
they reboot that?
It was fun, but
it was yeah, absolutely.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
There was a one from EA.
that's the one I'm thinking of, which
I
I think some people found they could have a lot of fun in, but it
Squadrons.
dabbled with sim controls, sim-ish. Are you using your hot ass for this one?
I'm not using my hot ass for this.
When we go-
Hands on throttle and stick.
Sure.
Hot ass.
Sure
Hot
it is.
ass.
Okay.
Which is funny because ass doesn't come up at all.
No.
in
Yeah,
that.
HOTAS. Hot
Yes,
ass.
but
Hot ass.
your hands are on the throttle and the stick.
Peter, when you play it, do you get hot as?
I get a hot ass.
Oh, God.
Because I sit for long sessions.
Get the sweats.
Yep. Fair enough.
Yeah, and then there's like an RPG based around upgrading your ship and upgrading the station that you're in, and heaps of customization, paint jobs and stuff like that. So you travel between kind of points of interest on a massive, massive scale. You go to like hyperspace effectively to travel light years away, and you can give a good boost to travel in little sectors. So you kind of, you go to hyperspace to get to the next point of interest, and then there's like bubbles of space that you're operating in when you get there. And it's open world in the sense that as you would in a fantasy RPG, enter a zone and go, oh, there's a little cave over there, I'm going to go and explore that. There's an asteroid over there, I'm going to go and explore that. There's a group of enemies over there that I don't need to engage with, but I will, and I'll kill them, I'll get experience and upgrade my stuff. And I'll kill them and I'll loot scrap and iron and maybe even a weapon might fall off them, and you can salvage guns and upgrade your ship that way. So
quite liberating in a game like this, because these spaceship combat games often tout that they're like, there's a lot of freedom and there's literal 360 degrees of space, but they're usually always a linear level with one mission, and you do it as dogfighting in the games I've played. So to actually say, have a little bubble and explore it, and I guess I'm not thinking of things like No Man's Sky, I'm thinking of more combat heavy games. It's like, a little space to be like, do what you want in here and find the fun.
This kind of game for me, these kinds of sort of spaceship fighters are like my nightmare, in that because I just get so disorientated so easily with direction. Like, this is just the worst case scenario for me. Any game like this. If there's a level like this in a broader game, I'm like, no, skip.
My attention span's paper thin at the best of times, and seeing all these red triangles, I don't know what. There's so much happening at once, I feel. Did you feel overwhelmed? This
is right at the start, and it's a big conflict to kind of throw you into some action.
Okay.
But it really is, after that, there's going to be more big combat. But most of the stuff that I've engaged with after this has been like just me and 5 enemy ships.
Right.
And different variations of what those ships are.
The cutscene we just watched had Ben, the ship, and a huge fireball was heading to him, and then it just skipped.
I'm sure it was
spoil it. I don't want to spoil it.
Was that pause on purpose, Josh?
No, I just don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Yeah.
We don't want to spoil it.
I'm sure he's fine.
Does Ben live? So then the kind of game feels more like, and it's not entirely like this, but almost like a what am I thinking of? Yeah, I mean, it's just pretty classic action RPG stuff of like, it's a lot slower, you move at your own pace. This is like when you start The Witcher and it throws you into a massive battle, and then it's like, the rest of the game is not really like that. It was just to introduce you to the world.
But you're always in a ship, and you're always in space?
In a ship, always in space.
Bluey asks looter shooter, and it's like, essentially.
Yeah. Not in a... Yeah, I mean, it calls itself a looter shooter. I don't really think of it like that when I think of like a Destiny that's about going and clearing mobs and drops and stuff like that. It is far more reminiscent to me of like a Kingdoms of Amalur, where you are a character, you happen to be a ship in this game, as opposed to a knight with a sword. Instead of picking up a new sword, you get a module to upgrade your phasers on your guns.
So I just cannot make that connection when I'm looking at this.
Same.
With any of the games that you've just described.
And do you know what? As soon as you spoke about being disoriented, I felt sick. I actually felt, because you were doing this all around. I was like, imagine hours of that.
I can imagine a scenario of being like in a full sim setup where you're like in a chair and you've got like, I can imagine that being kind of like, because your whole body's in it. But there's something about this that makes me like feel like,
watching it's different. Having control over them, though, I think. It's like, watching the footage is disorientating, but I think having it and going like...
Oh, and people love these games. I get it.
Yeah, but I think you'd surprise yourself and be like, you could
you know where you want to point your ship. And part of the problem of like UI being cluttered is also that there's waypoints and stuff. So you just go to the gold stuff. And that's you're progressing story by hitting a...
Jesus, that planet came up quick.
The drive of it is narrative. You get given objectives, and they're very clear objectives, but instead of it being a linear mission, it's you have access to this kind of part of the system because we're pretty free to move around that because it's not being patrolled by the big oppressive government.
Sure.
So you can go and explore this area, and that's what I'm doing here. You can choose which direction you want to go in, and so it's open world in that sense of, I now have the freedom to go wherever I want to complete the objectives in whatever order I want.
So it locks in. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I wouldn't have picked this as a game that you would sink more than an hour into, but like...
it's a 50-hour game.
Jesus.
It's a big fella. There is a demo as well, a free demo on Steam that is the whole...
I actually have some footage of the demo, Peter. Let me just bring this up.
This is going to be a troll.
Oh my
Oh,
lord.
there it is. It's just hiding behind
Just
there.
the
That
crack
picture
just
in
behind.
picture is just.
Perfect.
Oh, here we go again.
In all its glory.
Oh, so we can see the full. Yeah, great.
God, how?
Awesome.
You insisted that was in the segment, huh? You
Forgot we had that.
Oh, did you? You shot it.
No,
but-
I'll never forget we had that. Yeah, that's Everspace 2. I'm sure there'll be heaps of people in chat who have already played it. It's been in development for 5 years. It's been in early access for 2, and it is just released. So those
Cool.
2 years in early access, I think, I've watched some of the earlier footage, and the game looks the same, but the systems, the RPG systems, have clearly been overhauled in a way to make it play and feel much more interesting.
I'm sure I've seen Everspace 1 and seen trailers for all of it. It's just it's a very forgettable name. I'm like,
Yeah,
Everspace. I'm like, yep,
Everspace.
that popped up on Steam and went, and I'm
yeah.
never going to see that again. So, cool.
Yeah. Harry,
Yeah.
you've been playing some Valorant.
I've been playing I love Valorant. Do you guys play Valorant? Not into the shooters?
Bit too twitchy for me.
I dabbled at the start.
I
I
tried-
dabbled
yeah,
when
I
everyone was learning it. And I was like, yeah.
I
Any
gave it a
Valorant
red
frogs
hot
in the
go.
chat?
There'll be some Valorant.
I'm
frogs in
just
the
so
chat.
bad at it.
Oh.
I like it. I like it because I can sneak up on people.
Yeah.
That's the only way I get kills is
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
surprise them around a corner and I go
Can't-
bam, bam, bam.
That's it.
But otherwise, it's just hard.
I grew up playing. You all grew up playing Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike, yeah.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike was the shit. I remember playing that, and then
That's where I'm like, why don't I just play Counter-Strike?
no, but see, this has got.
Tell me why.
It's got pretty colors.
It does have
You got
much
pretty
prettier
colours.
colours.
And you got cool abilities and stuff,
Cool
and
abilities.
it's not so brown.
That's it. And there's a lot. It does promote a lot more
Pick a
talking.
weapon. Just pick a weapon. Stop
No, this is-
fucking with the weapon.
This is
Nah,
clearly
this
a very
is-
expensive knife skin that
That's
someone's bought.
literally what most of the setup time is just going.
Oh, I thought it was people doing the little spray things in the wall.
sprays. Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
sad
yeah.
I can't play like this anymore. Watching this footage makes me anxious. But
It's so
do you
fun.
play like
It's-
this?
Yeah. I play because it's a 5v5 team-based shooter. So I used to be a high school teacher for 7 years. I used to teach high school
didn't know
English.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And-
English.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I guess I missed having teenagers cuss me out because
Yeah.
when I play Valorant, I swear to God, because it promotes communication. You're
Sure.
like, where the enemies are, where are you, what are you looking at? Sometimes you get the most red hot, like 4-year-old kid being like, you fucking didn't check this corner. What the fuck, man? And it's like, that's why I love this game. And some of these kids are crazy at it, but it also promotes this idea of like, we're all on the same team. We all have the same objective. You got to plant the spike or defuse it or kill everyone. And then it gets real hectic. Like, you played Overwatch, 9 million things happening at once. But then once you can coordinate that with a bunch of strangers and there's a 3-year-old kid being like, let's go, guys. You're like, yeah, this is actually sick. But I usually I only play this with mates. That's the thing. Like, and I met mates who live in Melbourne. We just played like a public server and then they added me onto Discord. And then now it's like this nightly thing of like, we catch up. They do like night shift. They're all nurses.
Yeah,
they do night shifts. Like sometimes they're on at crazy times in the night. We just play, have a chat. The best thing is griefing as well. Like you tell someone, oh, there's a sick lineup. Just come to this corner. And then this is obviously this 4-year-old kid. And and then you block them into the corner and then just drop a molly grenade on the ground. And they're like, Mom!
So you're playing with enough friends to usually try and fill up a side. You're not playing with a 10 or something.
It's 5 a side, but
Yep.
sometimes like I'll only have 2 other mates on. So
Yep,
then
yep.
you
So
party
then-
with 3 and it fills 2 others.
Right, and so the
Yeah,
people
yeah.
you're griefing are kids on your own team that you just
Yeah,
like.
only if they're jerks. I don't grief all the time, although it is fun. But I remember the magic
It
of
is fun.
Counter-Strike.
It is
Yeah, Counter-Strike and all these like Team Fortress 2. The fun is not just the game and the systems.
Yeah.
It's how you can like fuck around with it.
Yeah.
Like how, you're flashing your teammates.
And you compare it to Overwatch, but like the fact that it's 5 a side and all the characters have an ability. And
Yes.
so I think the thing with Overwatch is it's like you've got more aside. You've got six.
they
It
pulled
is
it to
5v5.
No, it's
5.
5 now.
It used to
They
be
brought
6.
it back.
It used to be 6. Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's a push and pull that goes for a lot longer, whereas because it's round based, everyone has their one ability that they can really only use maybe once or twice, I think. So it's like it can only get so chaotic. And it's
Yeah.
like so people have to use that ability and then just rely on their shooting and being good
Yeah.
at these kind of games.
Well, and each just like in Overwatch, each character has like a role. So you have your entry fragger, who is they call them duelists. You have your smokers. You have and that's the cool thing when you play in a group of friends because everyone starts to identify. It's almost like role playing in a way.
Sure.
You identify like all my mates who are duelists, the entry fraggers that are getting all the frags. bit psycho. Like a very aggressive. They're bunny hopping left and right, trying to get the flick taps, all the steezy type of like cool shots. I play controller, so I'm smoking off areas, making sure like we can enter a site and we're all safe. Like I like playing support roles in games.
That's the teacher in you as well.
Oh, it's just fun. Yeah, but like
It's also good that you know that's your
Smoke in the
limitation with the
front door.
controller. So you're like, I'm going. That's what you mean, right?
yeah.
You're playing
Well,
with the controller,
honestly,
so
the
it's like-
reason why I pick controller is because no one wants to play
No,
controller.
guys.
No one.
I thought
He's
he meant he played with a
he's
controller.
controlling the lanes in the map.
Video games. He said, I'm a controller. And I was like, he uses a controller. Got it. Respect.
No. I smoke off sections of the map. We
fun
should
to
play
Grace, isn't it?
sometime.
I'll use a controller.
But
I've lost so much respect. Yeah, sorry. Josh has lost
Josh is
all
like,
what respect he had for me over there.
But
Please, go on.
I highly recommend because it's one of those games that if you don't take seriously, if you have mates,
You can have fun.
Yeah,
you can have so much fun.
It's so hard though to find a scenario where people don't take a game like this seriously. Like the biggest barrier for me with games like this, and why I feel like Overwatch is probably heaps more accessible, is that these games rely so much on map awareness. And so
true.
often when I'm playing a game like this, and sure that's like just learning the maps and playing it a bunch, but like I just feel like every time I go in, you know, I might be like, I tagged one. Like, where's Steph? I'm like, on the left, like left of. I'm like, me? There's some stairs. I'm looking at a wall. I don't know, man. Come on.
That's sick. No, I love playing with people like that because people in my group are like that as well. And you're fucking so frenetic. You're like, to the left. And you're my corpse. Like, I'm dead. So, look around my corpse.
There's logic to that. You're dead. You say left.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No, but it's sick.
This is slightly off topic. I still play like Battlefield 1, which is like 64 people, and I've
Oh
got two
my
other friends,
God.
and we're everywhere. And my friend goes, behind me. I'm like, dude, there's a war going on.
I've
You're
said it
miles
all the
away.
time.
I don't know where you are.
Yeah.
What, behind
There's like
you?
actually 2 kilometers between you.
Literally. So it's like, cool.
But that's why it matters it matters about who you play with.
Totally.
Because if you chill,
Yeah.
like I have heaps of friends who, you know, the comms aren't great, but it's like they're just such a chill vibe.
And when it works, it feels great to
Yeah.
have
I
I don't think
coordinated
anyone's ever
something.
said it's such a chill vibe when talking about Valorant.
Yeah.
Oh, it's but
You are
I'm
the
not.
first.
I'm not good at it. That's why I'm saying.
But also, if you're not stressed about that, I feel like I'm always so stressed about being an anchor on the team. And also, I found that there's some games where it's like, we'll like from
Use an anchor to play?
Fascinating.
You got your hot ass. She has an anchor. Come on.
we'll go down like the left corridor, and the other team will smoke it, and we'll shoot out whatever. Wipe, start again. We'll go there again. They'll smoke it, whatever, and then we'll go again. Then it's like, oh, they went to the right one this time. We go, well, we go that way, and it's just like it becomes this thing of like, which corridor are they going to go down?
Corridor A or
Like,
corridor B.
that's the game.
I definitely, yeah. I think that's a totally fair criticism of Counter-Strike and Valorant being a Counter-Strike is that there is a meta to how to play the map.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you kind of, I find that, like, you know, I didn't play much Counter-Strike Go. I played a lot of Source.
Yes.
And I kind of got that sense, and then it became just a LAN game. It was like, we'll dip into Counter-Strike and intentionally not know how it works, new maps work, because it kind of takes the fun out of it. Because
Yeah.
I like to do, I'm a shithead.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go as fucking hard as I can.
Yeah.
And die.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the rest of the team to, like, clean up my mess.
That's it. Muck around.
Yeah.
I guess that one other big issue in this game is that, like, when you play and die heaps early, you're just sitting there spectating.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, like, how can I have agency in this? So then that's, why I think people get sweaty, because they
Yeah.
want to survive.
They
They
don't
want
wanna
to
be
kill.
And I guess, yeah, why something like an Overwatch has a little bit of a longer play time and for you to play with people. Yeah, it takes away that edge that people can have, that
Exactly.
anger, that, like, yeah.
Yeah. Or
100%.
this idea of like the group money spend and stuff like that. And everyone's like, we're saving. And I'm like, well, I think I deserve a gun, so I'm going to buy one.
I'm going to get a rifle as a treat.
Kevlar and a helmet. Don't mind if I do.
I've been good. Okay.
Still treat yourself.
Yeah. Every round's
I guess just quickly as well, this game's like we talked about playing it a little bit when it launched. Like, are you up to date with how the updates and what it's like, how much it's changing and evolving?
I'm all on top of So, because I'm a bit of a fiend. Like they've got new characters and new maps and the meta changes, all the patch updates. Because it's a live service game, completely free. Which is another thing I really like about it. Like people ripped on the cartoony
graphics and everything. But the whole point of this
love
is it's accessible. Like
It's
every
I
computer can run
love
it.
the art style.
It's
Yeah.
clean design. You can see what you're doing.
and every computer can run it because it's just it's really low level graphics or whatever. But
And it will, in 10 years' time, it will still look as good as it does now.
because it's a stylistic choice. It's
totally.
not trying to be really sophisticated. But like in terms of the whole patch changes and stuff, like I try not to get into the nitty gritty of that because again, it's like, why are we playing game? Like I'm not an esports champion trying to be like, oh, we need to restudy this map because they've changed one box is to the left a little bit more. Like that's literally
That dog is just looking right at it.
Yeah. I googled that, but they'll do all these different lineups and stuff. It's like, man, just
Go with the flow. Enjoy the changes, not study them. Kind
Throw a
of thing.
grenade at your mate. It's
Totally.
fun.
Yeah.
Thans
It's also, guys, sorry, if you have Game Pass, a bunch of the Riot titles now with their new partnership, if you've got Game Pass, like I think maybe all of the characters, maybe not the very newest one, but like a bunch of the stuff is all unlocked already if you're on Game Pass.
Yeah,
All the agents are available if you have Game Pass. I believe.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So you don't have to.
That's one thing I fucking hate about Riot Games is gating characters.
Yeah.
Like, because that does lock
The
away
dumbest
the
shit ever.
accessibility. Like, they're like, oh, you can install it on every computer, but you can't play all of the games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's what turned me off LOL as well, was
Yeah.
like, oh, you can play these characters this week. Fuck off.
Oh, did they do
Oh,
it?
this week.
They did
Yeah.
it by time.
It was monthly, I think.
Yeah, right.
Was it weekly or monthly?
It was weekly. They
Yeah,
had
yeah.
they rotated new different heroes in every week, so you didn't have to buy them.
Like the,
which
the
promotes
optimistic-
people learning
Yeah.
stuff, but it
There's
like-
part of you that goes, yeah, I like this
Because a
character.
lot of it is like for new players, they don't want them to pick really complex heroes that they're going to struggle with and stuff like that. But then,
yeah. They're all called like George and Brad and shit as well. So it's like,
You
I
haven't
don't
played this-
fucking know who you are.
George is available for a month. You're like,
and then
oh,
when Pete
fuck,
gets
George.
connected, it's like next week. It's like, what the fuck happened to George?
Where's Janice? Where's Gilbert?
Jenny!
Oh, Janice. Shout out to Janice. She probably doesn't watch.
Yeah.
What?
She doesn't have time to watch. She's out there honing her
weak.
bowling
She's training.
skills.
Yeah.
On the grind.
Steph, what do you checked out this week?
This week, I also played a sci-fi game. It was Beyond Contact, and it's developed by a Melbourne studio called PlayCorp.
Cool.
I would describe it as a cross between Don't Starve and No Man's Sky.
Oh.
It's like a space survival crafting game. Human civilization has had to leave because of conflict and destruction of the planet and stuff. So we're going to try and find new planets to, start civilizations on. So we are a bunch of scientists who've been assigned to that task. And you can play with up to 4 players, and there's 3 different classes, but only one class is available from the start. So Barjo and I jumped into this and streamed it together. It was really cool, super addictive. We were advised to play it on easy and elected to play it on normal and regretted that choice.
That hard.
Well, it wasn't, it's not hard if you know what you're doing, but because we were figuring it out and it was us.
Yeah.
We were faffing about a lot. And I think it's just that it's one of those it's like a lot of survival games, there's a day-night cycle, you're dealing with, different areas that have environmental damage like gas or toxicity and things like that. You've got to get oxygen and you need to feed yourself. And at night it gets really cold, so you need to heat yourself as well. So it's all that stuff and you need resources for all of those things. So to progress the story and to kind of get to the point where we were building things,
Seem to be dying.
you need to have you need to have all of that stuff. This is not my footage.
Yeah.
Sure.
You need to have all that stuff kind of like sorted so that you can focus on the next stuff. And I feel like Barjo and I were just constantly looking for food.
Yeah.
It was really hard for us to kind of progress the story and move forward because we were constantly looking for food. And when we weren't looking for food for each other, for ourselves, we were trying to keep each other alive. The amount of times we'd go in different directions because the environment and
First
the
rule
world.
of survival, split up.
Oh, man. It was
You have
impossible.
us
Divide and conquer.
It was impossible to stay together because there was so many things pulling you in different directions.
Oh my
and-
god, that map.
Yeah. The map is actually quite cleverly done in that it's that's kind of the zoomed out view, and then as you zoom in, you get the detailed art for each of the items and stuff like that. But that gives you kind of like map symbol thing to easily be like, okay, I need to go and find these things. And so then you kind of get, you research different items, and then you go and try and source the crafting things that you need to make those different items and upgrade your suit, upgrade your weapons, and start being able to build a sort of fortress. Meanwhile, there is a kind of like a blight poison thing that is spreading from a alien race that is, trying to take you down. So you're kind of working against that spread at the same time as trying to.
Is it battle royaling you? Is it just moving you around?
They're like little toxic seeds that are kind of placed around the map, and the poisony stuff is kind of like spreading out from those. And you can take out the seed and wipe that area out, but we were always super underpowered, and unless we went together, which we realized we should have done more. But we didn't.
You go over there.
Oh
I'll
my
go
God.
this way.
It was herding cats. It was a disaster, but it was also so fun, and it's a credit to the game's ability to constantly pull you and further out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was so hard to do the
Tantalizing
responsible
little
thing.
kind of shinies and things.
There's different biomes on the map. Like you kind of just cross into different territories. You'll go into kind of a desert land, but it's like poisonous. And then you'll go into like a swampy land, but it's got like
Poisonous.
a different kind of poison.
There's air poison and water poison.
Different kind of poison.
But I don't know. There's some. I don't know how to describe the fact that I feel like they have nailed the satisfaction of crafting survival games in the items that you pick up, in the exploration of it, in the forging of things to craft stuff. Like time passed in an instant. This is a time sink of a game in a really, really great way. And it was awesome. We had one of the devs in the chat when we were playing, who was, I imagine,
infuriated,
incredibly frustrated watching us play.
That's so funny.
But we're very gracious to their credit also.
No, go away from the poison. Go away from the poison.
There's poison over there too.
Stop splitting up. No, I know you're hungry. I know you're hungry.
It's still a compliment, but there's been a lot of these type of don't starve games, or these you fill up that little Minecraft bar at the bottom with things you don't know what to do with. Point being is that there's obviously a lot of research that's just happened through the development of this genre that, to get it really spot on is obviously, it's still a credit to them as developers, but there's a lot to draw from.
Totally. And I think when you, you have that sort of job list of items that you're working towards. And so when you finally have all the things that you need to craft a certain item, the jumps up are quite significant. So once you upgrade your suit, or once you, create a weapon that, is quite powerful, you're like, oh shit, now I'm fucking... let's go. So it feels, they're kind of big jumps in kind of satisfying progression. You just have to...
I guess that's important too. You don't want to go from stick with a rock to bigger stick with a rock. And you're like, how long is this going to take you to go?
I would say it was probably the worst ADHD kind of companion game in the world, because it was you'd hear it I would literally be like, okay, so I just need to get this to be able to get that thing, but also that means I would need to upgrade. So I'm going to go over there, but I'd also need food. And Barjo said he needed stuff. If I go back to the thing, then I can also get the thing that we needed to make the little hut, and then we won't get attacked at night, and also...
And I died of starvation.
Oh my gosh. It was just I
couldn't
couldn't...
eat this poison and be on
Yeah,
my way.
but just quaffing a whole thing of poison. What?
I couldn't finish a sentence before realizing that in order to do that, I also needed to do something else.
Oh my
and finding the
God.
right thing to prioritize was so difficult. And every time I tried to mainline one thing, I would veer off in a different direction.
It's sometimes a good problem to have as a design in a game though, to be wonderfully overwhelmed.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's you're right about there being a lot to draw from. There's heaps of this type of game. I've not really seen one that looks like this. A lot of them are playing on, I think about, it was
Midgard?
Yeah. The
Tribes of Midgard?
Yeah. So it's a lot of them playing on fantasy, a lot of them playing in
a lot of them are
particularly Viking fantasy survival games. They're on trend typically.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long people spend in those games. They do well on Twitch for a few months. And the people that play them, and I think coming back to your point about these kind of mechanics have been really, really crafted since Minecraft. And as long as you get those right, that crowd just moves into the next one.
Yeah.
And then they'll spend 3 or 4 months in this and get heaps of hours out of it, as long as there's enough hooks in it. And then they'll just move to whatever the next one is.
It's like a reskin of
And
even if it's not the same,
genre to be
it's
developing
Raft
for.
now, and now it's Rust, and now it's this, and now it's.
I really love the art style, and each of the kind of environments that you go through are all really different, and the colors are really different. So you're constantly kind of being visually stimulated in different ways. Gumdrops asks how many people can play at once. It's 4. And no, the camera isn't permanently in that position. You can rotate the camera.
Can you scroll out?
You can scroll out, yep. I found it easier to keep the camera in the same position though, just because I get so disoriented.
Yeah.
So if I turn the camera around,
north is,
it was easier for me to do that, just like I would play Tribes or one of those other games.
Right, and then there's
You're building.
Yes, this is all the building stuff as well. You can
It's like terraforming.
Yeah, you can.
lump forming.
Lump form.
That's just kicking dirt around. I'm terraforming.
That was metaphor.
Yeah, that is a big call for someone's stomach.
I dug a hole.
Oh, I just terraformed, mate. Yeah.
I terraformed the backyard.
Exactly.
I
got a
think also,
spade.
like, previously I've played games like this with people like Shark and Reese, who are very organized and like know how to keep us on task. And Barjo and I were just like the opposite of that. And so we were very inefficient, but we had a really good time.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I think I'd love to jump back in and play this with more people. And also I'd like to experience the other classes. I think it was just one of those things where it is a thing where they just want you to get used to the game with the kind of...
Right, so as astronauts, there's different types of...
There's 3 different classes. There was one that was kind of more medic focused, and then there was one that was like good at creating like turrets and defenses and stuff like that, because to protect you from the invasions from the
Yeah, cool. So there's pretty
aliens
decent
and
base
stuff.
building kind of stuff. going
Yeah.
on.
And you're not all generic astronaut who just all...
No,
yeah.
they're 3 different characters.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was the third one?
There was a medic, and then there was like a turret
Engineering.
guy.
Poison expert.
And
No one picked him. No one picked him.
The scientist. Oh, this is poisonous. I don't know.
I'm building.
Just eat it. Just eat it.
the main character was kind of like your sort of standard all-rounder engineer. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Gus,
cool,
what have you
cool.
been playing?
I've been checking out Meet Your Maker, which is a game that came out, I think, last week, and it came to one of the PlayStation Plus tiers, so I jumped in there to check it out because this game piqued my interest a while ago. I saw it in early access. It is a first-person shooter, base raider, and base builder. So essentially, you play. I've written down all the terminology here because my God, it got so confusing by the third cutscene or whatever. You play a custodian. So essentially, you're a warrior who goes out into this post-apocalyptic wasteland, and you head to these fortresses, or they're called outposts. And your goal is to infiltrate each of these outposts to get through this booby-trapped, enemy-filled fortress. Get some genetic material at the end, Genmat. You grab that, and then you need to make a safe escape as well. And then you'll take that back to your base, where you'll give it to the Chimera, who is that big fetus you saw in a jar before at the start. And you will then use that to get a bunch of parts, which you'll then give to the team of people, the advisors. Thank you. Peter's reading it as well.
I'm like, and what about the synthite?
The synthite is one of the... Well, I'll get to that as a point. My God,
in the hot seat.
it throws so much stuff that I was like, I had to write it all down because I'm like, what is going on?
Wow.
To upgrade your character. But essentially what this is a dungeon runner, kind of in the vein of something like, was it Phantom Abyss was the one we played, which is that temple run that had procedurally generated ones. And so what happens here, though, is that the twist being that all these outposts that you go to have been created by other players. And they are randomly being selected
like
in a
design
menu.
a maze.
It's
I
designed.
remember seeing this game advertised. I thought
Yeah.
it was so clever.
It's really just the pitch of it had me from the beginning. I was like, this
That's
sounds
sick.
fantastic.
That's so cool.
And so your goal is to successfully run through these booby-trapped areas that people have created in a designer, get the materials, get back, upgrade. That's that loop. And then you're encouraged as part of the game to go and create your own as well.
Yeah.
And then once you create your own, other people will do runs in them, and you will get resources based off how many times they die in it. You'll be able to go back into the map builder and see where they died. You can watch replays of them failing at your
That's
outpost.
so funny.
And
Do you have what do you have at your disposal for building, and is that limited to how much you've played and stuff?
So I'll go through just the actual this part first, because it's kind of a game in 2 parts. But essentially,
exciting.
the character you're running around as, at the default sort of gear they have is this bolt caster, which can fire at the beginning just 2 projectiles. But the trick is you need to recover each of those 2 bolts to continue.
Oh, no.
You have a grapple that you can see me using around there. You also have a melee attacker sword, and that sword can be used to take out the traps. Like there's one above me right there that you
Well
need to take
spotted.
out. Or you, as I said, you fire.
Not well spotted.
Well, or you fire that to destroy it, and you can reclaim the bolt afterwards. What you saw there is that you do have an indication of where a trap might be attacking you from that red little indicator around your screen. So you'll get a bit of a split-second warning that some attack is coming from a direction. So you're not walking around corners blind, but it is a great sort of game in the sense that everything is these cube mazes that it's very easy to slip up. I thought once I got my head around the traps, you'd just be working it out. But the amount of times I'd just step around a corner and
People
stand
are
on a
sneaky,
spike.
man.
People are really fucking sneaky.
Yeah.
And the best thing about it is that when you see a trap or you see someone who's designed an element that gets you and tricks you or catches you out, the first thing I did was go to one of my outposts and add that to it and go, that was fucking sneaky.
Yeah.
So that's how this works. You can
Right.
upgrade your weapon to, there's a version that has 7 bolts, but they can't actually kill the traps. They can only kill the enemies. So there's some interesting gear. There's probably, as a quick negative, there's probably a little too much happening in terms of the currencies, the upgrades, the sanctuary base. There is just so much information and all this stuff that you're seeing on screen now.
It feels like the concept, like in its simplest form, is awesome.
Yeah, I thought that as well, and then I did realize that I do appreciate the window dressing. I do like this post-apocalyptic kind of creepy era where it's Dune meets Mad Max meets Dread kind of thing. It's it's a cool aesthetic, but it's probably just overkill in the game progression department.
Do you get to watch people die in your maze?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
So then when you go into the maze building section, you've got a pretty intuitive flyabout. You were in there as your character, and then you can choose to float around like Minecraft. You can double tap jump, and you can
Can you
hover
be
around.
in there when they die?
No.
Oh, I'm thinking Saw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
You want to
talking
be
to
like
them.
proximity chat?
Yeah.
You're escaped by
And
trap.
really, the
No,
key's in your belly. Like,
It's a fairly intuitive system. The first thing you'll do is when you buy a plot of land, because you need to use a currency, you can buy multiple outposts. It does come pre-designed, like with just a basic walkthrough, so you're not starting from scratch every time, which I think is really clever, because it means that there's this kind of just this sort of ratty, blocky maze with an end point, the gen mat, and where you start from. And then you can choose to disassemble it and change the path and how it stops you starting everyone with kind of like being paralyzed by creative choice, going, ugh, okay,
Sure.
blank palette, what do I do here? The really interesting and clever element to it was, you might have seen earlier that little thing crawling around on all fours with a box on its back. That's just this little design mechanic that is basically, it is traveling between the starting point and where the gen mat is, back
It
and
needs
forth.
to be able to finish the level.
Correct.
Like a way
So it
part-
works
yeah.
in 2 ways. The first way is that when you saw me doing a run of a level, I could choose to follow it, because people can just make labyrinths.
Yes.
Like they can,
Sure.
and it's very unsatisfying to
never
just get
leave.
stuck,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you just
yeah.
get in one and you go, "What the fuck am I doing?" And it's happened, and then I've just seen, and I've been like, "There he goes, follow him." He doesn't set off traps or anything like that. If anything,
love the sound that you gave it.
he makes this little growl, it's like, and it's just like, it's kind of.
this place.
But it's a really clever way of making sure that you don't just walk into this big. Someone just makes a multi-path area, and you go, "This sucks. I don't want to be
And
in
he's
here."
moving slow enough that you're not just going to follow him.
Sometimes you're like, "Where the fuck did he go?" Like you
Yeah,
can hear him, but
sure,
you can't
okay.
reach him. The other way it works is in the actual map building section. Is you saw there before? It shows the path he's walking, and if you or her or it or whatever the fuck it is, it's actually terrifying. But if you sever that path, you'll get a little. You can see it there, that yellow dotted line. When you take out a block, it makes a little audio cue, and it shows that path is now red. So the player, it cannot be completed.
Can't save that map. Yeah.
So it's a really smart way of helping you design a path for the players to follow. And you can then design the traps around that path. And it stops you again, like I said, not having that kind of being paralyzed at the start going, I don't know if this is
can do a
going to
million and one
work. And
things here, yeah.
there's so many options. What do I do? You can build it around from that.
So awesome, because this is the death maze that we created in Valheim, but somebody's made a game of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Does it do Mario Maker thing where like it gives you the stats of people who, so like how many people cleared it,
Yep.
how
Yeah.
long it took?
So not only that, when you go back into the builder, which I think is the only way you can do it, that thing floating in front of me there is a skull based off someone who died, and the resources they dropped are actually there on the ground. I need to go into my map builder and run around and collect
it.
all the resources that got dropped.
That's
all
cool.
the synth parts and whatever else it is. So you actually run around, and then when you click on those, you see who it was, and then you can go back to a replay editor. If you scrub quite a bit further forward, if you wouldn't mind for me, Josh, you'll see like you can then go through their replay and watch it. There's a few things in the replay controls that were a bit shit. It's not really intuitive, but so I did it once and went, yeah, someone died in my. That spike wall was tucked around that corner for that very reason. Yeah. That's how they died. It feels good.
Are you watching them in real time, or are you watching replays of them dying?
Replays.
It's a replay. Yeah. And
So
then
you can't
you
talk
can.
to them in proximity.
No, you see how good would that
That'd
be?
be funny.
I'd
be like,
shit.
yes, go forward.
yeah. How about one more step forward?
Why don't you try the left?
Is there an incentive to make like? Because you want to kill them to get the resources.
Correct.
But is there an incentive? So that's the incentive to make a tough puzzle. But can you be nice? And do like
look, the one
really
thing I'll
easy
say
one.
is
yeah, like here's. Do you know what? Have the
Do you
slide.
name the map?
you don't.
It could be like free gen mat.
yeah.
And just have like a walk
So
to
that's
the
someone
thing back.
dying on my map there.
That'd be cute.
What's interesting is that some people are diabolical and they make some really clever ones that feel good to try to get stumped at and go, I really want to beat this person. They've been really
Sure,
clever about
yeah.
it. Some people make really short ones that you can be in and out of in a few seconds,
Yeah.
but they just pile it with traps right at the entrance. So it's like,
okay.
is that like clever? I'd be like, you rate it at the end. You can call it brutal, clever, artistic. You know, you can give it a little compliment at the
feedback.
end,
That's
a bit of
cute.
feedback for them, and then you get all of that for your one. You asked before, like there are 3 different tiers of difficulty based on they are like normal, difficult, or brutal. And when you choose to do an outpost, it'll randomly just scour all the maps and put a couple of selects for you to play. I believe the difficulty is rated on how many traps they can add and the size of it. So you can spend more resources and buy a bigger block that you can build a bigger maze on or a bigger outpost, and you can put down 50 traps in that one. So that's suddenly a brutally hard map. Whereas the normal small map, the small map only lets you put down 6 traps. And you get to a limit, it goes, you can't put any more traps in here. So that means it's a normal difficulty map and it's not too big. So
And is there a rating system like where you can go like top rated, like this, everyone's doing this map because it's like particularly fun or clever?
I didn't see a way for me to do it, but there is a leveling system where once you get to the top of each level, so at the end of level 3, it goes, now you can do a champions map. And it's selected someone's map that is a champion map, and you get more resources for doing that, and you can then continue up the upgrade. I'm not sure how that gets picked, whether or not, because there's no way to rate a map badly.
And you're not like searching for best rated maps and giving it a rating out of 5 so that there's so that the players are curating the best stuff.
No, it's just
it's randomly
maybe it's how
drawn
many
from-
people are completing it versus how many people are rage quitting it.
Yeah, I wonder if there's some kind of like algorithm in there that
potentially
is kind of pushing.
But it's good. All the
bad
ones
stuff
that
to the ground
at the end of every level, the champions map in whichever difficulty you picked is always one that I like. One of them starts and the whole building just is grey blocks, but then in red blocks it's like hi.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and some people, like you saw at the start, someone did a creeper head from Minecraft. Some people have been really clever and done clever. Some people have done the thing and built something cute or funny. Some people have just made a really beautiful looking, like dystopic looking dread tower monstrosity that you're like, oh. And I went into one where it was like they'd put runes up on the walls, and it was like they were misleading, and they had trapdoors everywhere, and it was like, this feels like a game developer has designed this. It's not just this sort of mishmash of walls.
Because my next question would be like, beyond spelling things out with blocks, have you come across any ways that players have communicated with each other? Because like, what's so fun about this is like in Dark Souls or Death Stranding, that idea of seeing something, a message that has been left for you by another player.
I've seen a few little like arrows pointing, and they actually often help you work out where to go. I haven't seen anyone do a complete troll yet, but as I said, more so I've seen things.
Harry wants to bully some 4-year-olds.
Go this way. But I mean, it says go this way, and your little he goes the other way, and you're like, well, it's clearly not that way. So you can only do it so much. I should mention one last thing as well, is that the escape out of each outpost as well is a second state. So once you grab the gen mat material, a big alarm will go off, and you can choose to put modifiers on secondary traps that only appear on your way back out.
Yeah.
So it's not just like you
don't get a free run
different
back out.
phase.
You don't just run out.
That's cool.
A lot of people have done, and I did it myself. The first thing you do is just surround the gen map with secondary trap. So it's
Yeah.
the Indiana Jones. It's you grab it and it goes,
Yeah,
and it's just
the sandbag. Yeah.
There's the game, like, there's a delay on every trap. So it's like, if you just turn and bolt, 9 times out of 10, you'll get out of there.
Yeah.
Until you meet some really tricky designers who make they're flamethrowers that fire down the corridor with you. So you have to get out of there.
Yeah.
And if you need to fire a bolt at that trap to stop it killing you, you're going to need that bolt. So to get to it, there's a trap aiming at that trap. So it's like, people.
Well, I noticed that on this last death where you shot a bolt at this guy up on this ledge.
Yep.
So obviously you're going to grapple up to get your bolt back.
So what do? Put a spike plate next to him.
There's a trap directly across. Yeah.
And as much as you learn that once and think, never happened to me again, not only will it happen on other maps, it'll happen on the same map. You'll be like, oh shit. Like, there's some great moments
It's such a reflex thing, isn't it?
I ran through my own outpost and I died. I was like, I don't know if that means I'm a diabolical genius or an idiot at playing my own map, but I was like, that's a feeling I haven't had before. Like,
I outsmarted myself.
Well, I forgot where I set my traps, and I was like,
Amazing.
So
Well done, me.
I think just as like, a top line design, I was like, this sounds really clever. I like how ambitious it was with the idea of you do the runs, you build the runs, and then I was just pleasantly surprised with like how much fun it is to play, and it's got a one more mentality. Like that menu refreshes every time you come out, and there's heaps already out there. It doesn't feel like there's just like people copping
sparse.
out and going, I don't know, there's a whole indie gen mat. It's fine. It's like
I wonder how
people
many the
enjoy it.
devs made in preparation for launch to be like,
and
there was it was built in it was really successful in the last Steam's not sale. What do they do where they
Next
release
Fest?
demos? Yeah, Next
Next
Fest.
Fest.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
So I wonder if they took some of the community maps from that as well and brought
Totally.
them forward. So
And the building is, you lose time to it. Like, you would think it's that thing of Minecraft. It's like, where do I start? But it's like, I was 20 minutes in building this map being like, it's not quite right. I'm going to have a disappearing block with a corrosive block underneath it. And it just, when it works, it works.
you gotta get them.
Yeah, heaps of fun.
My
mega
only
cool.
sadness is that I assume there's no multiplayer aspect of being able to build stuff with other people.
I did see
because I
it.
would enjoy that collaborative.
You know what? I saw
Yeah.
invite other
Process.
players as a menu in the Sanctuary, but I don't know in what capacity. So I'll look that up, actually. I haven't seen people
Two-player
doing...
co-op.
Two-player co-op. Get out of town.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Hell yes.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw in the trailer massive map. So obviously it gets just bigger and bigger and deeper and taller. Exciting.
Cool.
Meet your maker.
Meet your maker.
So that's what Gus played. Meet your maker.
Yep.
Steph was on Beyond Contact. Got some Valorant going on.
Oh, yeah.
And Everspace 2. That's what we've been playing this week. I don't care what you've been playing. We're going on an ad break.
He
See you
cares.
soon.
He's lying.
Who's that Pokemon?
Hello there. I'm Gus.
And I'm Steph.
And today we're playing a very special game from MaxJazzGames.
There's a sort of cat thing.
He's holding a donut, I think.
Do you know what it is?
That's right. It's Kung Pooby.
Do you play Kung Pooby?
Maybe you play Kung Pooby with your parents.
And if you do you sing the Kung Pooby song?
Would you like to sing the Kung Pooby song with us? Come on.
Kung Pooby.
Kung Pooby. Pooby here, Pooby there, Pooby everywhere.
Do you know who else plays Kung Pooby? That's right. It's Pockety. I wonder which window the Pockety is in today.
Let's have a look.
Is it in the round window?
Or the foot window?
Or is it in the Angus shitting himself window?
That's right, it's in the severed foot window.
We've had a lot of fun today playing MaxJazzGames, haven't we, Gus?
We sure have, Steph. Well, it's time to go now.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Okay, there's the lake. Oh god. There's a couple of guys on the water. Just casually dumping a body, as you do. They're feeding something, aren't they?
What was that?
I hate water things. Shoot the water for bonus items. Huh. Are these the things I can shoot?
Pete's party, yeah. It's Pete's party time. Party.
Welcome back.
It was Peter's ass.
It was my butt.
Who would have guessed?
We were laughing so hard when it came up that we didn't hear the full answer to it. It was definitely Nicrotex saying, "It's Peter Burns."
Yeah.
And then I think it was just the Pokemon theme.
No, it was the Peter's Party Time theme.
Peter's Party.
Pretty appropriate.
Sorry, yep. Peter Party Time. Thank you so much to Multifish for that two-parter. And to MaxJazzGames for probably the most horrific ad we've made.
Hey. Hello, Peter. Did you not like the ad?
We had fun making that ad. Though,
Steph,
didn't
we had so much fun making that ad, didn't we?
We enjoyed parodying.
Did you have fun watching the ad?
People.
It's too easy to do.
I hate it. And thank you. You would have seen one of our socials in there. Gus shitting himself for the second time.
In one ad break.
So good to see. And Ben doing some fine work on the socials. So go and follow him if you wouldn't mind. Please follow us on social media. You probably already are. You're already here.
Tick our talks.
We're going to kick on with the show. Did you say tick our talks?
Sure. Sometimes he
reckon
says
so.
stuff like that, and
It's
then
just
I
those
feel
slides.
like it comes out, and he's like realizes it's a bit weird, but then hopes it goes under the radar.
Yeah.
Throws it out there.
Yeah.
I know the radar's blowing up. So we have a class 5 idiot on the radar.
He's been ticking our talks all week. We're going to do a fun old segment. A little bit teased in the ad break. It's Pete's Party Time.
Pete's party, yeah. It's Pete's party time. Party.
The talks are to be ticked at.
And we're at the party now. But what game are we going to play?
It's always the best one.
Well, there are two best ones, so we'll play one of the two best ones.
What?
And we're going to play...
We got heaps of best ones. They're all best ones.
They're all best ones. But mainly this one and the other one. What the fuck? But this one... What the fuck did you just say to me?
That's the game.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
Oh, we get tense in here.
What the fuck did you just say to me? What the fuck did you just say to me? This is from an ad, one of the ads we made.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you recut it?
Recut it. It's
I broke it.
we were mimicking one of those like real life insurance ads.
What the
Yeah.
fuck did you just say to me? Brought to us by MiddleCee.
Hey.
One of our favorites. Another lawyer. A lot of lawyers watch this show. Is that a problem? You think they're...
How litigious
you think
is
they're
your
building a
audience?
case?
Like they're just waiting
I
for you
think
to
that
fuck up. Like,
one
we're
day our
watching.
time will come and
He
we'll
said,
unleash
"Ticking
our
my
army
talks
of
again."
lawyers on the world and,
They will come
and-
crashing down.
Oh, so they're our
enemies.
army.
yeah.
See, I thought they were watching us to...
Catch you out.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe.
they're sitting on the fence as lawyers. I think they could go either way.
Wherever
They're-
the money
They're ready
is.
to support us when we need it, and they're probably ready to cancel us when we need it as
They,
well.
they
I
will
think-
sue us in a second.
Like,
BuriBuri has actively tried to ignore things we've said in the show before, so they don't.
That's true.
That's a good audience.
BuriBuri has left the chat in the past. MiddleCee would never leave the chat. MiddleCee, you need to know about all the embezzled money. I'm going to read some lyrics from a song.
what the fuck did you just sing to me?
in the key of C, in a segment we like to call. I want you guys to have a crack at guessing this song. You can stop me whenever you like.
Okay.
It's spoken word, so he's not going to sing it.
I'm not going to do it in the
That's the
melody.
tricky
I'm
bit.
not
He's
gonna
going to
do it in the
speak
melody.
some
I'm going to
lyrics.
intentionally subvert the melody.
How much rhythm though? No rhythm.
No rhythm.
Peter's
And I will break the cadence of the lyric as well.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Peter's such a music nerd, so he always gets this one.
Here
so
we
it's
go.
fun when he does it so that we can guess and he doesn't win.
True. No cheating.
One light, one mind flashing in the dark, blinded by the silence of 1,000 broken hearts. For crying out loud, she screamed unto me, a free-for-all, fuck 'em all. You are your own sight.
No fucking idea. Was this like Pink Floyd or some shit?
I was thinking Katy Perry.
I would say it is
I didn't even
exactly
inspired.
between Katy Perry and Pink Floyd.
Fuck.
One more time.
Come on.
One light, one mind, and I'll do it a little more like the song. One light, one mind, flashing in the dark, blinded by the silence of 1,000 broken hearts. For crying out loud, she screamed unto me, a free-for-all, fuck 'em all, you are your own sight. Because I wanna be
The majority. Green Day.
Oh, it's Green Day.
It's Green Day.
You hate
It's
Green
Green
Day.
Day.
So there's
Down with the
Damn it.
or was it the something?
I wanna be
I'm
a
minority.
Hey, we did it.
I believe the song's called
majority.
Minority. It is called Minority.
Minority.
Yeah.
Minority.
They do say the word majority in it as well. Very confusing.
Very confusing.
There's only so many words that rhyme with minority, so you'd think that would be one of the ones that you would use.
That song also
Proprietary?
leans so heavily on rhythm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like-
When you just spoke them out, I was like, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well done. And well done, MiddleCee.
Absolutely. Thank you, MiddleCee.
I
Please
just
keep
realized I
watching.
pulled my hair out
And
on
keep
that
taking
song
notes.
to try and work out what it is.
It is a banger. That's a banger.
It is a banger.
What the Fuck Did You Say to Me is a game where Harry, Steph, and Gus will show off their lip-reading prowess. In order to obscure their hearing, they'll be forced to listen to Rock DJ by Robbie Williams at a sexy and distracting volume.
No one's ever forced
Rock
to listen to that
DJ.
song.
You know Rock DJ.
When's the last time you think you heard it? Because
Oh, when I was a child, I reckon.
exactly, and you would think, ugh, that old crappy pop song that used to get way too much playtime on Fox FM or whatever it was I was listening to. That thing kicks off.
Robbie Williams fucking rocks.
Yeah.
But just wait.
Okay. Sorry.
His version is better than your version.
Oh, I don't
It's
know.
also
You
like-
gotta hear it in here. This is. Ooh.
So you're each going to get 2 minutes with the headset on.
Yep.
And you'll be trying to read my lips as I say the game to you. Each game that you get correctly, you'll get a point.
We
You
have a
can pass.
disadvantage because he has a glorious moustache.
Oh, I can push it out of the way.
Would you please?
Can you just shave
Can we
it
get
for
a
this
quick
segment?
eraser on set?
Because can we?
What if I do it like this?
We have a tendency to like
Don't do that.
to try and over enunciate the words, and sometimes that makes it worse.
Oh, really? Oh,
Because
that-
you
that's
lose
not
the
how people-
natural lip
Yeah.
shape.
Yeah.
on
They
mouth shape.
lose their natural lip shape. Totally. Yuck. I never want to hear that again.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain this game to Harry earlier, and I was like, just make the sounds that you see the mouth doing.
Yeah, it was full on.
No way to describe this game that doesn't sound weird. All right.
To make it clear as well, I'll give you a thumbs up if you get one right, and then we'll move on to the next one.
And so
Sick.
we're doing
As many as you can.
songs,
No.
They're going to be video games.
video games.
They're going to be the titles of video games. It is a list of the top 100 video games from the noughties.
top 100 video games.
I figure
from the
we're all
90s.
across the noughties.
Oh,
Yeah.
easy,
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
easy.
right.
Early
Steph, I'll give you
early
stuff.
noughties, I would struggle.
And something cool.
Yeah.
Chat will be able to see what the game is. but
Yes.
people
they
on
can
set
see
cannot
it.
see.
Oh,
You
now
guys
that
on
we
set can't
have-
see.
So don't
Does that matter? Are we just
spoil.
screaming it out into microphones?
Chat will know because we will be yelling it.
Yeah,
But
okay.
absolutely. It's nice for them to have a graphic.
Yeah. Bells and whistles.
It's very nice.
All
Okay. Josh, you got the timer queued up, ready to roll? I'm going to start from the top of the list. Steph, you got the headset on? You can
Crank
still
those sweet
you can still hear me right now.
I can, yes.
I'm going to start playing Rock DJ by Robbie Williams.
Can you also occasionally? Oh, she can't hear us.
It's starting now. Can you
This'll
confirm for
happen.
me that you can't hear?
Can you hear? Can you hear us?
Mate,
Nothing.
Sing the song.
All right.
there's times she's not wearing those and she can't hear me.
Maybe
Absolutely.
can you
Are there
set
replays?
stuff?
Yeah, I can say stuff now. Can you hear me?
It's fine.
Okay, we're good to go. We've got.
Everybody.
Let's.
That's what I wanted to know. I just want to know where we were in the song. We're up to everybody.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Can we get the clock up on screen, please?
You got.
Stephanie.
Your time starts. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Your first game is Grand Theft Auto 3.
Aretha 4-3.
Grand Theft Auto 3.
Aretha 4-3.
Franklin. Respect.
Frisky?
Grand Theft Auto 3.
Grand Theft Auto 3.
The Sims.
Thirst traps.
The Sims.
Thirst tips?
The Sims.
Just the tip.
The Sims.
Thirsty tips.
The Sims.
What's going on with your teeth?
The tongue.
Channel The Sims.
Now you're just doing weird tongue shit.
The Sims. The Sims.
We'll
Sims.
pass.
The Sims.
Hang on.
Third.
No.
Skipping.
Skip it.
Skip.
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
Oi!
Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2.
Oh.
shit.
Resident Evil 4.
Rooster Teeth 4.
Resident Evil
Steph,
4.
Arrested Development 4.
Steph. Resident
Blip, blip,
Evil
blip, blip, blip.
4.
Resident Evil 4.
Oh, I got a clock.
Rooster
Ready?
Teeth.
Resident Evil.
She can't hear you. She can't hear you. She can't hear you.
Maybe psycho.
Resident Evil 4.
Rooster Teeth. Arrested.
Resident
Evil 4.
Resistance.
No. Let's move on. Halo Combat Evolved.
That's hard.
Halo.
Halo.
Combat Evolved.
Combat Evolved.
Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
It's
time.
Give
You
it a
got
shot.
4.
Post Warfare 4.
Oh,
Pretty close.
One of the words.
Pretty close.
Yeah, you got one of the words.
Saturday.
It's alright.
All right.
Oh, Harry, you're
4.
up.
Not bad.
Me?
Harry, have a
Okay.
crack, mate.
Oh, good stuff. I think just the tip might have already come up before. I swear that's been one.
Yeah.
That one I could not get other words coming out
The
of.
Sims was just the tip, I think.
Oh,
The Sims.
Yeah, The Sims.
Yep.
The Sims.
Uh,
And you missed Resident Evil 4 with the Rooster Teeth 4. You were like right there.
Yeah, totally.
That's why we spent so much
but
time
the
on
deep voice helped.
My
The deep voice
hearing is so fucked, I can't
hear
even
anything?
hear you now. The music's
Amazing.
on.
And here comes Rock DJ.
Oh, fuck. That riff in the
good.
beginning.
We had a
Hold on.
discussion today if we should change
We're in the
song.
noughties.
We're in the noughties
and we were
now,
like,
baby.
never change the song.
Yeah,
It's
Never change the
amazing.
song.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get the clock up.
Let's get the
Have we
clock.
started?
Not yet.
Ready? Here comes the clock.
Yeah, everybody.
Here we go. Deus Ex.
Standing.
Deus Ex.
Age of Empires. Civilization.
Deus Ex.
This is what you sound like. It looks like you're going, stang tings. Stang tings.
Deus Ex.
Chang chang. I've never played these games.
Skip it.
Deus Ex.
Stay ban.
Stay, man.
Hey, man.
Deus Ex.
This is such a hard
Stale
one.
K's.
Moving on.
Next one. Super Mario Galaxy.
Super Mario Galaxy.
Hey. Shadow of the Colossus.
One more time.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay, you.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay, Steph.
Shadow of the Colossus.
It's Shadow of the Colossus, but I wanted you to
you
walk through it.
Nice. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Aretha Franklin, respect. It is. Aretha
Grand
Franklin,
Theft Auto.
respect. I can't believe that's a game.
We'll give it to him. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves.
Hunters to the
Among
family
Thieves.
business.
Uncharted
Hunters to the
Among
family
Thieves.
business. Watch me do it while he does it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hunters to the family business.
Not even close.
Among Thieves.
Go again.
His mouth is moving so much more.
Uncharted 2 Among. We've got Counter-Strike.
Tetris Trail.
Counter-Strike.
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 Yes! I'm going to skip that one. It's just another Grand Theft Auto. It's Aretha Franklin. Bioshock.
Mario Truck.
Bioshock.
Bioshock.
Hey!
Well done.
We're giving you 5.
Oh, night.
It's
So
a banger,
sorry.
isn't it?
I want to play Mario Truck. It sounds cool.
Mario Truck
I
sounds
imagine it'd be
great.
like Ice Road Truckers, but like wahoo, you know? Yeah.
Sorry for yelling. I was like so deaf.
Yelling is important.
Oh,
No one can hear you if you don't yell.
this is so
Snow
fun. This is so fun. What was Aretha Franklin respect?
Aretha Franklin.
So that was
Oh,
Grand
do we-
Theft Auto.
It was
So
Grand
we
Theft Auto,
cheated.
which you already did.
That's what we
It was
thought you
San
had.
Andreas.
Oh,
And you said
Aretha
the
Franklin.
same thing watching
Yeah.
Grand Theft
Look,
Auto.
ripped to a
Wild.
legend.
So funny.
And the
dead?
family
I don't know.
business
Yeah, she's
one
dead.
was
She's dead.
what
So-
was that? The family business one.
Yeah.
Family business.
Uncharted 2
Family
Among
Business.
Thieves.
Uncharted 2 Among Thieves.
Yeah.
Uncharted 2.
You said something about Hunters, the family business, and I
Yeah.
was like,
The family that hunts together.
That's pretty close. Gus has got the cans on.
Huh? Sorry, I literally.
That's all good. I'll kick off the music for you.
Please do.
All right. Clock's starting. Metroid Prime.
Metroid Prime.
Oi.
Wii Sports.
Which boy?
Close.
boy?
Wii Sports.
Wins boys.
Wii Sports.
Wii Sports.
Winky boy.
he just
so close.
with his teeth. That is so
Wii
funny.
Sports.
West boys.
Wii Sports.
Wii.
Wii Sports.
Wii Sports.
Hey! Shit, I've lost my spot. Portal.
Porno.
Portal.
Portal.
Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic.
Star Wars.
Oh.
Knights
Star
of the
Wars?
Old Republic.
Knights of the Republic.
Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Do you want to smoke it with me,
Oh,
please?
fuck off.
Super Smash Bros.
Brothers Melee.
Whoa, why don't we
Let's do
start
it
again?
together. This is
Together.
mono.
1,
This
2,
is
3,
mono.
go.
We'll do it stereo. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Stupid Space Brothers Melee. Super Smash Brothers Melee!
Stereo works. Stereo works. Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2.
Start singing, you.
Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2.
Start singing, you. Sing, start.
Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2.
Hey!
I feel like we help.
Yeah. Fallout 3.
For the love of 3.
Fallout 3.
Fallout 3.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Halo 2.
Hello, how you doing? Go again.
Halo 2.
Halo 2.
Yep. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Metal Gear Solid 3
And listen to the
Snake
thing.
Eater.
Better head all 3
Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid 3
They don't suck.
Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake
Time's
Eater.
up.
Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Metroid 3?
You're done. Time's up.
You got
heard
heaps.
better-
You did heaps though. I stopped counting.
That last one was like, better take the 3 heads to the sandcastle beach, and it just kept going.
It was.
Better take the 3 heads.
It was Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
I love
Will.
Harry's over enunciated.
You wanna have a
One
crack?
was like,
Metal.
No? Are you sure?
Metal.
Yeah, but we weren't in the room.
Oh, we
Okay.
got this score.
Josh, do you want to have a
Josh,
go?
do you want to have a go?
No.
Josh,
come on,
Josh.
mate.
Peter, would you like a go?
Give me a go.
All right. I know he knows the list, but I'm gonna
If you start, I don't actually know the list, so maybe you start from the bottom. Thank you. Thank you.
does that break you, Josh? All right. Song starting from the start. Let's go from the bottom.
This fucking song.
Where's the list? Hang on. So we got the music playing, Pete.
Where's the list?
Yes, you can. We got
Got everybody.
Okay, going from the bottom.
You can't get a girl, but your best friend
body.
gets. It's time to move your body.
Okay, timer up. Let's do this.
game. Let go.
I was just
Okay, and
We're starting.
3, 2,
Yep.
1. Rock Band
Golf
2.
Man 2.
Rock Band
Goldman
2.
no 2.
Rock Band. Can you let me finish? Rock Band 2.
Throwback you.
Rock Band
Mole
2.
Madden 2.
Harry?
Mole man.
Rock Band
Romage
2.
Rue.
Rock Band.
Homies.
Rock Band 2.
Rock band.
Romance 2.
Rock Band.
Band.
I don't
Runbound.
Rock Band 2.
Round Man 2.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Pass.
Uncharted. Drake's Fortune.
Pass. Go try again.
Uncharted.
Archibald
Drake's
Chrysler
Fortune.
47 Angry.
I would play
Warhammer.
Archibald.
Yep.
Uncharted 2.
Ashtrust 2. Ashcroft
Drake's Fortune.
42.
Drake's Fortune.
Fortune.
You came up with this game, folks.
Oh, something Fortune. Soldier of Fortune 2.
Uncharted. Uncharted.
Uncharted.
Ashley. Fortune, right?
No.
No. Okay, fuck it.
Close enough. Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Diamond and Pearl.
Stadium.
Diamond and Pearl.
Pokemon.
Diamond and Pearl.
Stampede Ball.
Diamond and Pearl.
What version of Pokemon is this?
Emerald.
Both do
Pearl.
thing
Stam.
with your face.
Diamond.
Sammy.
Diamond.
Shammy.
Diamond and Pearl.
Diamond.
Yeah.
Diamond
Diamond.
and Pearl.
Diamond.
Airport. Pokemon Airport. Is it Pokemon?
Yeah. Diamond and Pearl.
One more time.
Diamond and
Damn
Pearl.
rule.
Damn girl
Dungeon
and
Master.
Pearl.
Oh my gosh, you were so close.
Diamond. And Pearl. Yeah! Get the magic lips. One.
Yep.
Oh, we're out.
Oh my god.
Okay. Rock Band 2. Uncharted. Drake's Fortune.
You got the Fortune of Drake's Fortune.
Fortune.
And then, I don't know what I said.
But
It.
then I asked if it was Fortune and you said
No,
no.
but you didn't get
He
the
just- he was
Uncharted or
done
the
with you
Drake,
at
so we
that
had
stage.
to
That's one
jettison.
for Peter.
Okay. Well, I'll take one. Yeah. We got enough games to do another round?
I reckon.
Yes.
This is fun.
Again,
This is a good one.
again.
Alright.
This is a good one.
And apologies to Josh. We'll find a point on the list to jump back in on.
Do you want to go back?
Yep.
Ooh. Do we want to?
Oh,
My
Dan,
puppet.
Papa Dan.
Papa Dan.
Papa Dan.
But Daniel.
Do we?
Oh, Papa Dan.
I can see Daniel waving in a puppet.
It looks like Daniel.
Where do we want to start from?
Oh, yeah. Hang on. I'll get the music going for Steph. There you go.
It's so refreshing to see a game that Pete's shit at.
Who said that? Who said that?
Nicrotex, of
Oh,
course.
my God. Okay. I've gone back up to where we were earlier.
Okay, time is ready. Here we go.
Oh, shit. Why did we go there? We're
Hands
starting at Tony Hawk's Pro
Donkey
Skater
Kong
2.
does a poo.
Close. Tony Hawk's
Donkey
Pro...
Kong.
Tony Hawk.
Toey hole.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Post.
Pro
Duck.
Skater 2.
You haven't even got Tony
Prozac.
Hawk down.
Yeah, Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk?
Donkey Kong.
Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk?
Jokey hole.
Tony.
Guys, I've got
Toki.
this.
Pokey.
Tony Hawk. Tony.
Slowly.
Okay, no.
Okay,
no, we're
slowly
never going
fall.
to get it. No. This is...
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto.
Vice City.
Vice City.
Yes! The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
What?
The
Legend
of Zelda.
Yeah. The Legend
The
of
Thirsty-
Zelda Majora's Mask.
Oh my god.
The
Can you break it up?
Zelda.
You do Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, and you do Majora's Mask just on loop. The Legend of Zelda. The
Major-
Legend of Zelda.
No, not
The
on
Majora's
Legend of
Mask.
Zelda.
You're not breaking it up.
The
Majora's
Legend of
Mask.
Zelda.
No,
Okay.
the legend of.
We'll skip that one.
Fuck.
Batman.
Peppa Pig.
Arkham Asylum. Batman. Arkham Asylum. Batman.
Batman. Batman.
Arkham Asylum.
Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
Hey! God of War.
Golf War.
God of War.
Fuck off war.
God of War.
Suck off.
No, don't finish that. God.
Cock.
God. God.
Socks.
God of War.
That's
Oh, you got time.
This time.
You got another 2.
StarCraft 4. That's
The famous Naughties game.
One day.
StarCraft 4.
It was God of War. It was God, of War.
God of War.
That was so close.
You were so close right from the start.
Cock of War.
Yeah.
You said suck off, and then the first word of your next guess was cock.
Suck off, God.
Freudian
It was
game
still loaded.
development.
It was still loaded.
What game starts with cock? I don't know. I'm just saying what it could have been.
Oh,
Could have been.
Could have been.
Up.
time to DJ out.
Here we go.
Socks of War.
This isn't open.
DJ.
Okay. There's a lot of long titles coming up, but you got an easy one to start.
Yeah, that was fucked. What was that one? Oh, you're gonna say
Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. No, you got that. Tony Hawk Pro Skater was the first one.
Sorry, we starting?
Halo,
we started!
Halo 3.
Halo 3.
Yes.
I'm gonna get everyone.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Sons of the Patriots.
Font of the Patrons.
Yes.
Sons
Challenge
of the Patriots.
of the Guns of the Patriots. Metal Gear Solid 4 Patriots.
Oh, it is guns. I said
Oh,
sons.
it is.
Baldur's Gate 2. Ooh, Baldur's is a hard one. Baldur's Gate 2. Baldur's Gate
Bulking
2.
Wow.
2.
Baldur's.
Baldur's Gate 2.
Gate
Oh my
Nice.
god, he's smashing it.
The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
The Legend of Zelda.
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
Nice.
5.
Prince of Persia.
Pussy of... No way. What?
Prince of
Pussy
Persia.
of my
Mother.
mother. Pussy of my mother. Peter.
Prince of Persia.
Pussy of my mother. No.
It's not that. It's not that.
Oh, God. That's not my fault. Pussy.
Prince.
Pussy. It's straight up saying, it's like you're like, pussy. Pussy.
Let's skip it.
Don't you dare talk about my mother like that. Jin is a saint.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
There it is. Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Modern Warfare
Modern
2.
Warfare 2.
Easy. Assassin's Creed 2.
Assassin's Creed 2.
Oh. Mass Effect.
Man and Man.
Mass Effect.
Man and Man.
Mass Effect.
Man and Man.
Mass Effect.
Man and
Mass Effect.
Man.
Mass Effect.
Man and Man.
Mass
Man
Effect.
and Man.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
Oh, this is done. This is done. Gears of War.
League of War.
Oh, close. Gears of War.
Gig of War.
Gears.
Gigs of War.
Gears.
Gee.
Gears. 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 Gears.
Ooh.
Nah.
Are you just going, ooh? What was that last
That's it.
one?
Gears of War.
Gears of War. I thought I got as many. Like,
You got 8. I think you got 8.
The like anger and the like, you just start internalizing it.
This is so fun.
Oh man, that was great.
Oh,
I can't believe you spoke about my mother like that.
that was very
Technically, you did.
Persia.
Prince of Persia.
Because I never said pussy. Not once did I say pussy.
Welcome to Peter's
Yeah,
latest
that
game,
point.
Gaslighting Guests. Go on.
Did you get that? That was Prince of Persia.
Didn't
Sands
you?
of Time. That was Prince of Persia.
Oh, so I don't want to say it again. Oh my lord.
I love that though. It's so once you get a sound in your head, it's so hard to
Yeah.
think of
Yeah.
anything else. And
I
you were
think-
just stuck on pussy.
I couldn't get it.
There's a catchphrase.
Sorry, my life now.
Hey,
Hey, oh,
hey.
Going back in my bubble.
Okay.
All right, the Rock DJ is cranking. And, yep, starting from here.
Okay, here we go.
League of Legends.
League of Legends.
Yay. The Legend of Zelda. Twilight
Twilight
Princess.
Harry, start from the start. Go.
The Legend of Zelda.
Teeth.
Twilight Princess.
The Legend of Zelda. Twilight Princess.
Gus,
to-
look here. The Legend of Zelda.
The Legend of Zelda.
Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
The Elder Scrolls 4.
The Theater store is full of flounders.
Flounders. The Elder Scrolls 4. Oblivion.
There's a 4 in there. Let's go back to the start.
The Elder Scrolls
Oh.
4. Oblivion.
Oblivion.
The Elder Scrolls 4. Oblivion.
There is a store called, and it's open for business.
Yeah. The Elder Scrolls
The Legend of
4
Rose 4,
Oblivion.
open for.
You're saying too strongly, I
Well,
think.
because I'm trying to help.
The Legend.
He's getting
no,
the open.
The Elder Scrolls 4
Something Stronghold 4.
Oblivion.
Oblivion.
Oblivion. Scrolls 4 Oblivion. What?
We'll give to you. Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero.
Guitar.
What the fuck is that?
I know.
Hero.
No.
Guitar.
Sixer.
Hero.
Sixer-o.
Guitar
Saints Row.
Hero.
Guitar Hero.
Sasaro.
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero.
I'm sorry for you too.
Final Fantasy 9.
Flight or Fancy?
9.
9. Flight or Fancy 9?
Final Fantasy.
Fuck off Fantasy 9.
Final Fantasy.
Father
God.
of... Father?
Final
Father?
Fantasy. Final Fantasy. Gus. Final.
Fala.
Final.
Fala.
Final.
Final.
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy?
Yeah. Nine.
7.
Come on, give him the point. Yeah, time's up.
Jesus.
I was like, final. And you're like, falafel.
Final Fantasy 7 was fuck off, that's Kevin.
Kevin.
Fuck off, that's Kevin. It actually was.
Let's see if I can beat one.
Yeah,
Oh, I
no,
gotta
you got
reset
this.
the
You got this. You got this.
Watching...
Can you reset the song for me?
Watching
Just pull
Fala.
down and slide the thing back.
Fala. It's like...
Fala.
You go mad.
Fala.
That's enough?
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool.
Can't hear anything.
Back to the list. We... Let me just find it on the lists.
I need to get 13 to
Diablo
win. I've got this.
So do Diablo 2. Yep, cool.
All right.
Yes, you can.
There it is. Let's hit the timer. That
3,
means he's rocking with his DJs.
2, 1.
Diablo 2.
Skarmera 4.
Diablo.
Scarmello.
But does
Scarmello.
Pete say Diablo or Diablo?
Diablo.
Diablo
Stemmalone.
2. Diablo 2.
Diablo 2.
Ah, see?
Kingdom Hearts.
Hit marks.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kiss marks.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kiss
Sparse.
Harry.
Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts.
You're not even pushing air, are you?
Kingdom
Sketchma.
Hearts.
Hat.
Kingdom.
Lee James. Hat Lee
Hearts.
James. Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy
No,
Lee.
no,
Next
no.
step.
Rock Band.
Roman.
Rock Band.
Rowbound.
Rock Band. We've done this. Rock Band.
Guitar Hero.
Fuck you.
Fucking piece of shit.
Rock Band. Rock Band.
Roller Batch.
Rock Band. Rock
Wrong. Crawl.
Band.
Band. Sir.
Rock
Roll
Band.
my
Rock
band.
Band.
Batch.
Rock.
Crash Bandicoot. Kill it.
God, you suck at
I'm
this.
at 1. We can do better. 5.
Burnout 3 Takedown.
Birth 3 Dowlands.
Burnout
Bur-
3 Takedown.
What's the last bit?
Burnout 3 Takedown.
Something 3 Daybreak.
Burnout.
What? Burnout 3 Paradise.
Tack down.
No, take out. Take breakdown. Take breakout.
Take down.
Resident Evil.
What?
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Here you go.
I heard it.
Ready?
I didn't hear it, but I heard it.
The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
That was so flippant.
The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Oh, it's just Flickr 4. Flippable.
Hey, guess this one.
The
Leal.
Scrolls.
Leal. The tongue. The tongue.
Oh no.
Morrowind.
Fellowship
There's no tongue in
Of the
Morrowind.
Ring.
of the Ring.
Nah.
Oh.
You give it a shot.
The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
There's another 3. Something 3 Marrowbound.
The Elder Scrolls.
The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Hey, there it
It's
is.
over.
There it is.
You did it. Oh my lord.
There was no tongue in Morrowind, but I don't know.
It was the cleaning of the
Morrow. Yeah, I had to polish them off.
Fligging Devil 4, of course.
It's Fligging Devil 4.
Morrowind.
Total scores by Liz. Steph on 6,
Oh.
Harry 13, Gus on 12, Pete 5. Harry's the winner!
Harry! Bravo.
Josh, full round of applause. Button. There There it is.
There it is.
Yay.
It's customary at the end of a Pete Party game for the winner to receive compliments from the other contestants. I'd like to start.
Please.
And this is going to be very surface level.
Okay.
But
Hold on, let me hold this butt up.
I get a great sense of pride that someone as cool as you is wearing green cord, and so am I. And I feel like we fit.
Show it on that. See, there's so much texture here.
Who says wearing cord clothing is out of date and terrible and something your grandfather does?
The couch
No
fucking
one.
rocks it.
Okay, I know
The
this
couch
is
is
something
rocking the
Gilbert and
cord.
Janice would wear, but can you back off, Gus? This
Okay, fickle. They are winners.
is meant to be compliments.
Let's bowl, motherfucker.
Let's fucking bowl.
Steph, would you like to compliment Harry?
Harry, I like the tone of your voice. I find it pleasing to the ear.
Thank you.
Smooth.
Thank you.
Harry, as is customary, this is kind of a compliment to myself and you.
Okay. What?
You walked in here branding a puppet,
I sure did.
to which I said...
Brandishing.
brandishing a puppet. To which I said, I'm really good at puppets.
It was the first thing that Gus said to me. We
never met.
Lovely to meet you. I'm really good at puppets. I was like, well, bro.
You proceeded...
Have I got the puppet for you?
Yeah.
You proceeded to then shove your hand up the puppet and just casually do a little bit of puppeteering. I think you might be a better puppeteer. Puppeteerist? Puppet.
I
Holy
reckon,
shit.
Puppeteer.
Papa.
Gus, can you give Dan Crowd puppet a go?
I will. But for now, I think he belongs...
Is that actually Dan Crowd?
This is Dan Crowd.
Holy shit, it is.
All right.
Look,
I see it.
When
Ready,
it comes
ready?
to having your arm firmly up the hand of your producer,
Yeah.
I
I
think...
hate everything except emo music.
Don't fuck this up.
Don't
What's
fuck
the
this up.
story there? How come you have a puppet of Dan Crowd?
Well, Dan had a friend make this for him who made puppets, but we ended up using it in a bunch of sketches and stuff for work. So he just left it at work.
It's like he's here with us right
And
now.
how do you clean out the puppet once you've used it?
This is
Now the puppet puts his
a
hand
lot of.
Oh my.
I'll never tell.
Do you know how many people can't do that? They
What?
can't do the, like, I'm just mimicking my own mouth.
You got to be good at puppets.
But you just straight away walked in and did that, and I was like, he's really good at puppeteering as well.
He's
This guy's a fucking genius.
That's a fucking
This is
natural.
his first rodeo.
We're just normal men. Normal
Innocent man.
Innocent men. The fact that that guy does all the outtakes and consistently
Yeah.
keeps this going,
Yeah.
amazing.
It's the same. You wouldn't have had the pleasure of working with Darren the Robot, which was a three-part affair. It was the robot, it was a puppeteer, and it was someone doing the voice, and the person doing the voice had a button to activate the mouth.
All separately, yes.
Yeah, all
yes, yes,
separate.
yes, yes, yes.
So,
And then, it required, like, swinging of the arms with two things.
So someone
and
was
then
quite physically inside them.
Pros got behind it with a knee and could, like, rock him back so he could sort of do this little, oh my.
But so he had kind of like a little stick button that he would use with his thumb
Just on off.
to activate the light on and
the
off
mouth.
for the mouth
Yep.
light when he was talking. But when he would flub a line, because he'd be so in the motion of doing that, he'd be like, "Oh, I fucked it. Sorry, I'll do one more."
Yeah.
So that Darren would keep talking. when he
He
would-
would like cough and he would do it. He'd be like,
So the bloopers had him, like, we had, staff-only bloopers that had Darren the Robot just, like, cussing and cursing and being normal men.
Between takes, there's some fucking gold.
There was some great
gold
stuff.
over that man.
Red hot Darren stuff.
Very funny.
So that was what the fuck did you just say to me?
A subsidiary.
A subsidiary of Pete's Party Time.
Play the card.
Play the card.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Josh and Will have joined the party.
Now
Yeah.
it's a real party.
Oh, yeah.
Party.
Harry wasn't invited to the card though.
Oh.
Well,
Maybe next
I mean,
time.
there's only so much he can do.
Thank you, Stephanie.
me.
Thank you. You told me let's just make a generic one, you fuckhead. You threw me out of the bus.
Threw him under the bus.
Totally.
We'll talk about it over an ad break.
LokiCat wants you to think he's a good-looking man who wistfully looks off into the distance at weddings. But what is he hiding? Not only is he not the Norse god of mischief and the rightful heir of Jotunheim, he's not even a real cat. He was born a boy. But now that boy's all grown up, and that overgrown boy loves birds.
The man likes his cockatiels.
But does he love those birds too much? Cockatiels aren't the only Australian icon he's tried to fuck.
Those are flamin' pros!
Is this flamin' galah who you want in charge of the country if he ever decided to run for political office? LokiCat. When you head to the polls this weekend, make this 9th life his last. Authorised and paid for by Pockety Proprietary Limited.
Got game? Have plan. It's the Back Pocket Game Plan. Murderous Muses is a replayable murder mystery, part FMV and part this ventriloquist puppet nightmare.
I kill less people.
Grapple your way through Rusted Moss, a Metroidvania twin-stick shooter where evil witches bring brooms to gunfights. Wild Frost is a deck-building, card-slinging roguelike set in the town of Snowdell. I reckon you'd be better placed to survive the winter by burning all those cards to keep warm, but that'd make for a pretty boring game. A Night in the Attic VR rolls Guinevere through a series of physics-based puzzles to defeat the evil Mordred, who I've heard was a serious physics denier. And keep the headset on, because Kill It With Fire, the jump scare spider hunting game, gets a VR update to just make your life hell. And oh my god, where would anyone play this? Total War Warhammer 3 is getting the Forge of the Chaos Dwarves DLC. De-Exit Eternal Matters is a puzzle platformer giving serious Bionicles vibes. All right, out with it. What are you guys playing? No, don't say it out loud. I can't hear you. Write it down in the comments.
Oh, what from our sponsors, a message from you. Oh, what from our sponsors, they're easy to do. They're fun and informative, flexible too. So send in your word today.
From Arsvogel to Zygodactyl, we're looking for words from our sponsors to feature on the show. Got a word in mind? Grab your phone and start recording. Need a word? Read the dictionary, you moron.
A joke or a ditty, we're finding their shit. Just send in your word today.
Check the Back Pocket Discord for more info.
We are so far up our own asses at this stage. Harry's here going, what is happening?
No, I was loving it.
Oh man, I can't believe
Muso
made an ad for us to get content from our audience.
Where the snake in its own ass, or whatever that thing is.
Do snakes have asses?
Yeah,
they got a little slit.
I got pooped on by a snake once.
Wait,
Yeah, I know they poo, but like,
where are their bums?
they don't have cheeks.
No,
It's not at the end of their tail, right?
but they have
No,
a
it's
little.
at the very end.
They
It's a
have
little-
they have a little sphincter. Yeah.
Do they have a sphincter?
Well, they would have to if they can poop. Where's it going to come from?
I don't know, just a little slot between the scales.
Female snakes have multiple clitorises.
What?
That's true.
Okay, why do you know that?
But to me,
The first thing is that I heard it on a research podcast, not that I just go and
That's not
check
the first
snakes.
thought.
I'm
That's not the
Googling
first
dog
thought.
looks left and Gus is
it.
like, whoa.
How many clits on that
that
snake?
makes sense because I think snakes would wrap around each other and it'd be very hard to line it up.
That's true.
That's true.
Right.
Citation needed, Gus. Says confused echidna. There we go. We're well off
Speaking
topic.
of echidnas, Harry, you should Google it like on your
Yeah.
phone right now. Just do it.
What do they have?
You want to
Go-
know?
you gotta
Do
Google
wanna
it.
You know what, we will.
I'll look. I'll
I
I,
show
no,
you.
I got this from Barjo. He was like, Google it, and I did. Someone's got to Google
Do you
it.
want
All right,
this?
Harry's
You
doing
can-
that.
you forge ahead.
Oh, I don't wanna
We're
listen
well
to
off topic.
history.
Thank you so much for everyone sending words in there. We had an ad for RaddleSnakes there. Sorry, a word from RaddleSnakes, and of course Muso for high.
Can we get a close up on Harry's face?
What are we
please,
seeing
while he
there?
Explores.
I can't show this, can I?
I don't think so.
I think you can.
Maybe?
It's nature.
Is
Yeah.
it?
It's nature.
Can I look?
Echidna penis?
It's like a paw.
Oh, it's got spikes too, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
No, it
but
doesn't.
think
It
about
has-
what it is, okay?
It
if,
has-
if you were like, it's like a paw, you'd be so upset. You can't just, like, if we're talking about, you can't, it's a paw.
It's
You'd
a
be
paw.
like, no.
I don't even have to tell anyone. Chat's Googling it right now, so they'll see.
Chat
it.
works it out.
Echidna penis.
Echidna penis. Look
You're
it up.
You're welcome.
No,
No,
we
I'm
have,
Sorry, Gus.
no.
Maybe Bell's here.
I brought it up with the snake. It's typical just this show. We got words from RaddleSnakes Music for Hire, and we saw an ad there for LokiCat, one of our patrons. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. We also saw the game plan there. The game plan sponsored by A. Timothy, and as we do with every sponsored game plan from A. Timothy, we reach out to Timothy and say, hey, what are you going to play? What kind of, marsupial genitalia are you looking up this week, Timothy? And in this
Don't
case...
put that on him.
I won't. And we write to him, and he wrote this week and said, okay, I would say Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, though that price...
$86 on Steam.
$86 on
What?
Steam.
Too much.
Yep.
For both Volume 1 and 2.
For the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection.
Yeah,
and whatever's in
right.
that.
That's
But
crazy.
then goes on to say, if that doesn't count due to being a re-release, and to be frank, extremely niche, just go with Kill It With Fire VR. So thank you, Timothy, for letting us know that you would be into those games.
I like that you acted that out with tone that he didn't necessarily have.
He had that
You
tone.
could read that in
He
a
touched with
jovial
tone.
manner, and it would have a completely different vibe.
I know, Timothy. He's a creator of worlds and he's a cynic. And so he's there just like going, I guess if I have to pick a game, it'd be this one. And to be frank, I think you'll find it's a little too expensive. Kindest regards, A. Timothy. So thank you so much, A. Timothy. All right, let's move on with the show with a final segment for tonight's show, which is we've played some video games, we've played some games ourselves, but let's talk about what we've been doing and what we've been watching on other screens.
Pocket watch?
No! Just pick one. Jesus Christ.
On Other Screens, a subsidiary of Pocket Watch, a very confusing title, is a segment of the show where we all talk about some stuff we've been checking out on other screens. They could be televisions, they could be cinema screens, they could be your phone or your Kindles.
On Other Screens just sounds like there's
A
like
great
strong
title.
dad energy to it. Like it doesn't have the zing.
I'm in double denim. I'm dadding it up tonight.
of your other
It's like when
segment
the
ideas.
ABC used to bring tour groups around, and they would go, and this is where they make the
good games.
It's like, no, that's not what it's
The
called.
good
But you don't correct them, you nod and smile and say, on you go, Gilbert. It's not the good. They would.
See you later, Jeanette.
See you later, Jeanette. And On Other Screens this week is sponsored by Nicrotex, one of our patrons. Thank you so much for sponsoring this segment. And as we do every time there's a Nicrotex segment, there's a Nicrotex tweet. We read out one of his wonderful tweets from whenever in the timeline. We might scroll back months, weeks, days, hours. It could be really recent. In this case, it's not. I went really far back to October 2020 when Nicrotex wrote, one thing I quite enjoy doing when interviewing a potential new employee is, if I find out they're a gamer, asking them, what's the best Zelda and why is it Spirit Tracks? And then I watch the inner conflict as they debate whether they'd rather have a job or punch me in the face. Well done,
Very
Nicrotex,
good.
for having that.
You went mining for that one.
I did. But I found it with relevance to something I'm going to talk about later because a little bit of Zelda chat.
Oh, and you love a segue.
I do love a segue.
Loves a segue.
So thank you, Nicrotex.
October 2020.
October 2020.
That was still kind of the height of COVID for you. Why is he interviewing people face to face?
Zooming.
Might not be. He might be zooming.
How's he going to get punched?
How's he going to get punched?
Virtually.
Virtual punch.
Irresponsible.
You
Yeah,
get punched
Nicrotex.
in the emotions.
How about you wear a mask and you bloody get your shots, mate?
There it is.
Yeah, stop talking about Zelda
Wow.
and Spirit
Thanks
Tracks.
for taking us back to a
How about you get some
time
track marks
when that
of vaccines?
when that
Oh, fuck.
No. I don't.
No.
I took the word and I went with... Yeah, that's...
Hang on,
We can
Peter, I'll
cut
save
it.
you. Peter, I'll save you. Back over
Sometimes
here.
word association's real bad.
Yeah.
Snake clitoris.
Thank you.
Everything's fixed.
Clitoris.
All right, let's kick on with this. Some stuff on other screens. Stephanie, you went to the cinema. You watched a movie. What was it called and what was it about?
Oh my gosh. I saw Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves.
Cool.
And it was fucking delightful. Oh my gosh. And let me set this up by saying that I went to the cinema in 2000. 2000? 2000.
I don't know.
When the first Dungeons and Dragons came out,
Oh,
with
that's
right.
the highest hopes in my little heart. Because at that time, and I had a long conversation with someone on Twitter, and I've been back and forth. At that time, there was not a lot of fantasy out. Like, for a fantasy nerd, it was like slim pickings. Like, I was watching the same 3 movies like on rotation from the 80s.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings came out, changed a lot. Harry Potter was successful, changed a lot. But up until that point, scarce.
Yep.
So a Dungeons and Dragons movie was just going to be like so exciting, and it had Jeremy Irons in it.
That's right.
It had Thora Birch. It had one of the Wayans.
That's a pretty studded cast.
Yeah.
Like Jeremy Irons alone.
Jeremy Irons is like the
Oh,
king
his
of
voice.
voices in
Scar.
Yeah.
Am I right? Scar.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Daddy Lion. Sorry, but
It was.
Daddy
yeah,
Lion? Oh, throw me off a cliff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Prepared.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
It
It
was
went
like
through production hell.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
did
it just
it?
like
Yep.
it had really, really bad CGI. Like even for the time, do you know what I mean? Like it was like they were obviously like now you can get away with doing like budget CG reasonably well for a TV series. You know what I mean? And people are like, it's not cinema quality, but like I buy it. This was like, you know, those like after school cartoons that started playing with sort of CG, and it was
Like
real-
the shitty Beast Wars
Yeah,
level,
yeah,
like
yeah.
real
It was
3D.
Say shitty. Beast Wars.
If you it doesn't live up. If you watch it
Those
now,
graphics are fucking awful.
yeah,
They're plastic.
everything. Yeah, it's like everything. Is this claymation? No, it's not. That's the textures we're working with.
The costumes looked like bargain bin spotlight
Yeah.
creations,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
weird
I remember
shiny
this.
fabrics. The script was awful. It was like really melodramatic. It was just a disaster. But it had the main guy in it from Sequest ESV, and I was in love with him. So I
right,
still saw
yeah.
it 10 times.
What?
Okay.
I'm telling you, starved. So I went into this with so much like apprehension. I saw a trailer that made it look good, but I've seen a lot of good trailers for stuff.
It's also cut to a Zeppelin song, so it's like a great cut of a trailer. But you know, we've seen Suicide Squad.
Chris Pine, who is obviously great. Jean.
One of the trailers says the Chris Pineiest role, one of the most Chris Pine roles he's ever had. That's in a trailer for this.
For sure, for sure. Jean, the sexy guy from Bridgerton, was very excited about that.
Yep.
I know. Reggie, Jean something. Michelle Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Yeah. Because Hugh Grant is in it as well. Reggie Jean Page, thank you.
Pokemon movie
Sophia
guy.
Lillis. It's how to describe it. This film is like a love letter to nerds while being broadly entertaining to everyone. It has the best fucking tone in that it doesn't take itself too seriously and yet has moments of real heart that like make you cry. It is just, I laughed the whole way through. It is like a rollicking adventure. It has heaps of like fucking winks and nods to like D&D, you know, nerds that they will get, but like doesn't matter if you've never played D&D in your life. It's just like, it's such a great rollicking adventure, but I cannot stress like how well they've nailed the humor while still kind of grounding you in moments of like real like emotion.
Yeah, great.
It was I walked out of there and was like, I want to see it again.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's such a rare thing. Like,
what a fucking success.
I don't know why it's coming to mind because it's probably I haven't seen this, but like something like The Mummy was a film I saw, the old one, and was like, yeah, it was just fun. I had fun. It was a roller coaster. I get vibes from this in that kind of regard.
Yeah.
It's not hanging all of its faith on the material and the story. It's like the actors are still actors having fun in this, and when there's moments of actual seriousness or heart, it catches you off guard and it actually means something.
It's also really creatively shot, which is not something that I typically notice very much. Like I'm often quite oblivious to that stuff. I'm just like along for the ride. But like right off the bat, there were some really interesting camera angles, like shaky camera stuff happening, and like aerial sort of shots that were taking you like overhead and
It's
stuff.
just top down and they're just moving around on a board.
And then there were
Roll
and
for
then there was
initiative.
stuff that I was like, I went onto the director's Twitter afterwards, who posted like heaps of behind the scenes stuff, which was super interesting because they show whole set pieces where they've like swung in cameras and like moved out walls in the moment of the shot to like
While they shoot, so
while they're shooting it. So
holy-
so it's like they have like a scene that takes place in a carriage, and the camera kind of swings in. They open the door so that the camera can get in, shut it as the camera rotates around. They open this door so the camera can get so it can orbit around the character
In a small space.
In a small space
Yeah.
without being
Crazy.
restricted by the walls. There's like incredible stunts that all the actors are doing. Like, it was just really, really cool.
Yeah.
Fun
watched-
movie stuff.
I watched it as well, and I agree with everything. I think it's a delight and funny, but also incredibly clever. Like a lot of, and I think The Mummy is as well. And I think it's a really good reference because it is about fun, and you have to have some suspension of disbelief for the story to make sense. But who cares? Because you're having fun moment to moment. And there's just some really brilliant, like the characters are have great ideas.
You know all their alignments
And
just by meeting them.
Oh, sick.
And then the execution of how that plays out in story beats and in character interaction is so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect to love it. I don't think I would watch it again, but it's a really fun film. And I think it's like a homage to films like The Mummy, where they don't take themselves seriously, but
they also don't. The actors aren't just sleepwalking through it, going, "Fans of D&D will love this," and I don't know what that is, but whatever.
Yeah, but they treat the content with respect, or the subject matter with respect.
Totally, yeah. And I think what's cool about it too is that so much about when you're playing D&D and going through a campaign is it's about how do we solve problems as a team while staying true to what my character would do, and when you're faced with obstacles, like how do we find creative ways to get around them? And they do that consistently throughout this. It's not like a movie where it's like, here's the plan, we're going to execute the plan, insurmountable thing, the end. It's like
that's Top Gun.
It goes like this. You know what I mean? Like you kind of you really get a sense of them having to creatively dodge those things that they get encountered with, all the while being like, like a million references from the game that I don't want to say because you'll watch them and you'll enjoy them when you see them.
Sorry, you go.
What? How do they? So it is obvious that it's Dungeons and Dragons.
For sure, yeah.
Oh, that's what I want. I don't want it to be like.
But again, if you've never played it, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
They'll explain, I imagine, things that need explaining, but there's things that they can breeze over that you're like, oh, that's still.
There's only like one moment in it where I'm like,
I get it.
This exposition is weird.
It's not for you.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
Because everything else, and I'm not big. I've played a bit of D&D, but I don't know everything. And everyone was like, "Oh, that's that thing," and I'm like, I didn't recognize what that thing was, but they were obviously like, "Eh."
It's like when they have a guest star, it's like a sports star from a sport you don't know, or whatever. But the camera hangs on that person a little bit too long, and you're like, "Oh, this is meant."
That was someone.
I meant to know
this is
that.
Someone.
It's an inside joke.
It might be a bit like that when they hold on a creature or a puzzle or an item that's very classic to D&D lore.
For me, it was really cool because now I know what people feel like when they watch a Marvel movie or Star Wars movie with me.
Sure.
It's like it's that where it's like there's things on the screen constantly, but how Marvel films and Star Wars used to be, where it was kind of background and it's not interacting with the plot. But for anyone that's like blindsided by it, they won't notice it. But yeah, it's like I had lunch with my uncle and he described something that I was like, that's a cool detail. I wonder what that's about. And then he just gave me the full lore, and it was that's so lovely. That's so cool that. Yeah, there's different ways to experience the film, which was really cool.
I was very curious to know what you would think of this, Will, because I know that we've often had conversations about your love of superhero stuff and my love of fantasy, and I'm trying to find what you love about that in the way that I love fantasy, because I enjoy both, but I don't love it in the way that you love it, and I think this kind of rides that line a little bit more and being more irreverent and having a bit more of a kind of a pop culture element to it without taking itself so seriously, as fantasy can often be quite straight.
Yeah, I think my love is always the swashbuckling nature of it, less so the kind of fantasy element of it. So this definitely leans harder into that, which is I adore.
Probably why we're pulling Mummy references with Brendan Fraser as well. Just hey, just strapping on the gear and running down, looking kind of dashing but clumsy.
They're kind of grave robbers. They're just they're. Honor Among Thieves. It's a band of thieves doing thief stuff.
Yeah.
It's not paladins and holier than thou people, though they have there are characters that are that.
Yeah.
They cover the whole gamut.
I was even taken in by watching the first trailer for this, just thinking, okay, here we go. What's not even the hook, generic fantasy story. And I think even the trailer says there's some thieves who are we accidentally stole a world-ending item thinking it was for good people, and it turns out they're the bad people. We need to fix this. And I was like, that's the first line in the first trailer that came out. I'm like, that's a cool spin. I haven't really watched a movie where that's, the guilt of the characters going, crap, we need to fix something. And I was like, already that was an interesting enough hook for me that I thought, I don't know how it develops, but I just thought better than, we don't want to chase adventure, but adventure's calling. It's going to win the world. I guess we got to learn to work together.
It felt to me, I don't know if you felt the same, Steph, of there is the version of this film, which is the 2000s version of the film, which is screenwriter, probably a great screenwriter, doesn't know anything about D&D, and writes a decent fantasy thing, and it doesn't have any it just doesn't work for some reason. This felt like it had gone through a bunch of tabletop sessions, and it was like there were moments in it where I was like, that's definitely happened at someone's game.
Yeah.
Like that's why this is in the film, is that someone did something so like took such a left turn.
Almost game breaking. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like there's no logic to it. I love that shit. There's no logic. There's no logic to what that person did.
Yeah.
Except that their own logic makes it make sense.
Yeah.
And everyone goes along with it, and suddenly the DM's like, all right, I'll allow it.
It's some real shit. Yeah.
I think my fear with when I saw the trailer was that, like, when I saw how kind of jokey and sort of self-aware it was, I thought it was going to be to that, and it was going to be a bit of a parody film. And
there's a world where this zooms out and there are people playing it, and there's like there's a meta story and something.
And then
like
I would
Lego
have felt
movie.
like, oh, they're just making fun of it, like, and it's so not that at all. They're really respectful of the thing while still being very funny in the way that people are when they play D&D. And then I think also the other thing that makes it really charming is that there's heaps of practical effects in it. Like that, we start to see now coming back with Star Wars and everything, that people really love practical effects, like, real creatures and stuff. Are you laughing at the thing that I'm...
There's a fucking great moment with the practical.
I want to watch this now.
Yeah,
I'm going to see it this weekend.
I can't recommend it enough. It's so great.
I like what you said about self-awareness, because especially with The Mummy as well, there's certainly an element of tasteful self-awareness in things, because too much self-awareness feels it's like that irony poisoning of like Deadpool, like, I get it, I'm not
sorry
real.
Will
Sorry, my apologies, but when you do it at a tasteful level, it's like you can be self-aware, cheeky, but also still love it authentically, really love it.
And that's a big problem that we run in with video game and get pop culture movies as well. It's very hard, it seems like, for the cynic producers to not still go, yeah, but nerds, like, to still have a dig even in the film itself. Like, I'm trying to think of better examples, but to be like, they still like mock the thing they're giving detail about. I'm trying to think of a better example, but yeah, there's some films that you watch and you're like, shut up, you're still calling everyone nerds who plays D&D. It's like, whereas this feels like everyone I've spoken to is like, this is a love letter to it. It helps people who don't know it, and the people who do know what they're referencing.
And like, it makes sense because the directors and writers did Game Night, which respected board games and kind of that kind of element.
So good.
See, it's clear they're just nerds.
Comedy film of the last.
It might be. A film that might not be the greatest. You ever seen Game Night?
You gotta watch Game Night.
Watch Game Night.
Okay. Watch Game Night, then D&D.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Totally. A film that might not be the greatest film of all time, but it's doing really, really fucking well in the box office currently, Peter, is a film that we went and saw. We went and took Josh, we took Will, and we all went to a session with some grown-ups.
The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Wahoo!
Oh my
god!
How much of the audience were children?
Like half. Oh. We went to gold class and then we're still in there.
That's so cute though. Did you hear that? Were they yelling stuff out?
They would. One kid talked at the start of the film, like call and response. He's like, as it was. No. That sounds cuter than it is. He's like, he was commenting. He's like, it was fucked.
Yeah.
He was kind of doing a thing where he was like, oh no, he's going to get eaten by the pie, but he's been eaten on. No, it was fucking annoying. Shut up. But straight away, I was like, God, that would annoy me. But I'm in a Mario film. Let the kid have his day.
Yeah.
Seriously. Initially, and he shut up eventually. That was good.
Because you beat the shit out of him.
He threw his phone at him and didn't hear a peep out of him afterwards.
It really hurt when Gus punched me, actually. So, I apologize for making the noise, Gus. But I was very excited.
Shut up, Josh.
So this is very animated. It is the full-on CG Mario movie. Gone are the days of Bob Hoskins in overalls. We've gone hard for the character that you see in the video game.
How hard?
I've gone so hard for this
We
character.
went hard for Bob Hoskins, and we go harder for the character that we
Chris
see
Pratt.
in the video games. The performances were kind of the scary thing to me going in. The casting of Chris Pratt, I think, was it's an internet joke.
Yes.
That, lol, it's Chris Pratt. And I think they could have probably cast someone better, but also within the first 5 minutes of the film, it's totally inoffensive, and he does a good job. He's animated and pretty good in the role. And it's very much a kid's film.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the ride. It was very fast.
I keep hearing
it's
everyone
90
says
minutes.
it's super fast.
Yeah.
But what does that mean?
It means that there's no it means they say the next thing we might have to do is this. and then
Bang,
it
they're
immediately
gone.
cuts to the fact that
there's no
they're
journey.
doing
It's
it.
literally
there's no journey. There's no connective tissue. It's
There's not very little downtime beats at it because
there's
I
no
would
moments
argue,
between characters of getting to know each other. There's action,
It's just
which makes the thing
TikToks
move.
montage together.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
To be honest, I had a great time in it. I don't remember most of what happened in it. It's like popcorn nothing, but it deserves to be doing well because it I think just captures.
It looks beautiful.
It looks beautiful and it tells a fine story and.
Oh,
Go on.
I like this. I'm keen
Yeah,
for
I mean,
this little-
like it's not a Disney film, but I also think it's no worse than half the fucking kids films that I've watched with nieces.
So would you?
That's
So
a lot
next,
tougher,
so
yeah.
next to like a Pixar movie, would you say this is?
No, it's not got any of the strength of storytelling that a Disney film has.
Yeah. Okay.
It is just like I spent the whole time in there going like, this is the Leo on the couch going recognizing himself on TV.
References.
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
reference. That's all it's set out to do, and I think it does it really well, and it is beautiful the whole time. So I think it does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I know that like I wouldn't critique it the way that I critique even Dungeons and Dragons, you know, because I was there knowing that this is literally for people who are 4 to 10 years old.
You don't bring a sledgehammer to Walnut. Like,
But is it? Does it have any like jokes that go over kids' heads but are funny for adults?
Not particularly. But I would also argue that it doesn't really have any good jokes for kids. I think I would say there's no jokes in this. There's no like. I think this looks beautiful. I think they've done an amazing job of showing off a very sort of popcorn world. I agree with the voice acting's actually really good for everyone in it. I think they just went with a first pass of the writing of this. I don't know what happened there, but it is just like as a narrative, there was just no real structure. It was literally like first draft of the
narrative of Mario itself doesn't give them a lot to draw from.
Yeah, it's like literally hold right, press A a couple times. Like we're going from A to Z.
I think everyone's going to be like, Gus, it's a kids' film. And I think kids deserve a little better when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to jokes, when it comes to...
This was an opportunity to flesh out the sibling rivalry between the brothers and really delve deep into what makes
I don't know if
them
you're joking, but 100%.
intergenerational.
No,
like there was no struggle. It was literally like the story of it is that they're plumbers in Brooklyn. Luigi goes missing. Mario goes after him. He meets Peach and Toad. They say we have to get to Bowser. They go to Bowser. They find Luigi, and that's the end of it.
Gus,
it's like there's no.
You're dealing with an audience that are literally talking to the screen.
Yeah, but I'm
when you were in there, they're like, "Yes, Mario, I am here." Like that's why they have to bring it down.
We watched kids' films that, like, when we were little, we just took the surface level stuff and went, "That was fun." And then I think stuff like seeps through, like
For sure.
good
Yeah,
writing,
yeah.
good characters, like even a small challenge. Like there's a particular sort of scene near the end, and I'm not spoiling. It's like where Mario sort of looks like he's about to overcome a challenge and then kind of realizes there isn't any character growth to be made. So he just kind of picks himself
because
up
he's a white
and goes,
man in America. He's never faced a challenge in his life.
Thank you. I was going to say it.
And I think, there was with a couple of other passes, I think there was room to put in some better story here and or even just some smarter beats.
Well, I was talking to Dan actually about this, and we were tossing around the idea that because it's Nintendo and how like cagey they are with their IP, like maybe they're how like sanitized they because. Do you know what I mean? Like, how
I don't doubt that.
I wonder if there were other drafts of the movie that were like he's more creative and and explored different ideas, and they were like, no, because then that's canon. No one's unhappy. No one's jealous. There's
a handful.
That's right. Yeah, everyone's happy. And
I know I usually get raked over the coals with this. There's a handful of bits in trailers that aren't in it that like show that there was more film there that got cut down. Like,
really?
Particularly where there's like characters when they're on the journey between locations. There's a dialogue scene in a trailer which is just a sort of soft fade between two scenes to get them from A to B. So it's like there was more film on the cutting room floor, as there is with a lot of these things.
Yeah.
And then people might have seen a tweet I put out the other day that was based off knowledge that I got from Will, which I really dug deep into, which is the idea that there are too many and terrible needle drops in this film. Way too many.
Oh, God.
There's so many of them, and they're cliche.
Sorry, are you talking about the music?
Yeah, like let's put a pop song in here. But they are the baseline cliches. There's Holding Out for a Hero. There's Take on Me by Aha. There's Mr. Blue Sky. There's ones that have been used in animated kids films and other things. There's the fucking Battle of Death and Honor or whatever in Kill Bill, like that song. And it's like, why are these here? And that's
feels
fine.
like maybe that's where they're trying to hook the adults, that it's going to give a rockin'
But it's
playlist,
a very cheap way
so
to
it becomes
do
a
it.
jukebox for people to enjoy.
Totally.
Nostalgia
But
trip.
in
Yeah.
particular, there's the use of the song "Take on Me" in a bit, and it's just like we all collectively eye rolled, but we didn't care. We're in a kids' film.
Sure.
And then there's a song in the original soundtrack. There's a song in the
didn't care.
We didn't care. It happens to be when they're in the Donkey Kong area and they play "Take on
Why
Me."
have you got that kid in a headlock, Gus?
I'm telling you, I don't care. They play it for 20 seconds and it's just during a big scene and it was like, it finishes. In the original soundtrack that's out, there is the score is beautiful. All the reworkings, the orchestral reworkings of all the Mario music, all the Donkey Kong music is stunning. And there's a track in there that uses all the Donkey Kong music and it's called like "Driving Me Bananas." And it's a scene where they're driving around that is to Take on Me in the movie. And it's clearly, I can feel these developers or these filmmakers made this song for it, and then some producer's gone, put a pop song in there.
That sucks.
And so the second I feel that's there, I can't take it out of my brain that happened everywhere in this film, and that sanitized it. It made it 90 minutes because they know that's the time you have to hit, because kids after they go 90 minutes are just like, I'm out, I'm done.
That sounds like more of an Illumination thing than a Nintendo
I totally reckon
thing,
it probably was.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I just want it to be known that I think kids films can be better, and it's like there are better kids films out there. They don't all have to be Pixar
I think that's totally
tearjerkers, but they can be smarter. They can be more emotion filled, and this has none of that, and that's not what they were aiming for. And they've
My nieces are aging out of that, and it's really frustrating me because I used to use them as an excuse to go see stuff. And so I was like, let's go see Frozen 2. And they're like, we don't really like that anymore. I'm like, we're seeing Frozen 2.
They're taking you to watch Frozen 2.
But yeah, there is a world where you turn your brain off here, or you take your kids just to kill a few hours, and it's like, it is inoffensive and it's colourful, and they're going to make a sequel.
Yeah,
so let's see, hopefully, if they do a better version there.
Yeah.
Josh and Will, you were there? You have fun? Cool. Okay.
The mic wasn't on.
Okay.
Yes, it was. I had a great time. I
There
think
it
it's good. Yeah.
Did you hit any
The
kids?
soundtrack is bonkers, really good. No, I just watched Gus, and I couldn't do anything.
You watched me.
My favorite part of the whole experience was Gus was berating us about the songs that were used, and whilst he was leaning into his chair, we were 4 seats apart, he was just yelling and screaming about how much he hated the music.
Amazing.
While this beautiful medley of Mario music is playing on the screen, and it was like he's being played out by the movie.
It was the credit. It was the credits.
Funny.
Yeah.
Everyone was like,
funny.
I wish we had that in real life.
The entire way back, we've all Pete, Will, and I have heard the exact musings that you've just heard from Gus on the walk home to the studio.
And Will and I absolutely did Josh dirty.
Oh, yeah?
Because we walked in there and, gold class is like those paired seats.
The big, yeah.
And Will and I absolutely ran to the other set of chairs when Gus sat down.
I still leant forward and yelled at you. It's like, hey, I have opinions. I have thoughts.
That's
Josh
so
hasn't
funny.
had a sitting next to Gus movie experience yet.
Harry, you haven't lived.
It wasn't that bad.
went,
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't
Sounds
that bad.
amazing. Just
When we
beating children up.
when we saw D&D, I sat next to Middo, and Middo immediately was like, are you a film watcher or a film talker? And I was like, oh, I'm a film talker. And he was like, excellent.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, when you find some of the vibes with you, that works. Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
Harry, we're off the big screen back to the small screen.
Small screen.
Tell me what you've been watching on other screens.
I've been watching Beef on Netflix, guys. Have any of you seen it?
I've seen the first couple of
first
episodes because I fucking love Steven Yeun and I
Steven
love
Yeun.
Ali Wong.
They're incredible. Now, it's all in the title. It's about beef, but I love the way they capture.
Wait, not the meat. Not the meat.
It's like prime cuts. No. We're talking rump. So, it's very specific kind of rage you've ever felt. Like, I'm not a naturally
that kid didn't shut up. Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, when you feel rage against a complete stranger, and it's like this sort of energy that goes through you, but it's directed towards anonymity. And it can go 2 ways, where it's like, I don't know who you are, so I'm going to let it dissipate because I don't know who you are.
And maybe it's about the thing, but maybe it's about like a lot of stuff.
It's this stuff.
You got feelings.
Yeah.
You got feelings.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault that you have feelings.
That's it. That's right. And but then it goes the other way where you don't know them, and so you're like, oh, I don't fucking know you. So
I could kill them and no one would know.
Yeah, exactly. And so it basically dilutes all of that into this, it's that whole Batman thing of immovable object and an unstoppable force.
Right.
And it's like the 2 most stubborn people who are sort of 2 ends of I want to say socioeconomic situation. Your Steven Yeun's really struggling financially, and then Ali Wong is so rich, but is very unhappy. And they both are so unhappy that when they find this stranger that just does one trivial thing, they have to fucking just go hard on it. And I remember watching it and like that cathartic release of like, oh, yes, like we've all been there. We've all been there where it's like, how do I direct this anger? Or how do I, and like you said, Steph, it's actually you that's the issue. And it comes back around. So I've only watched the first episode, but it's becoming like that ritual thing for me and my partner Jill, where we're like, this is what we're going to watch.
I'm curious because I've only sort of just seen the first episode. I think I maybe watched half of the second one, or I can't remember if I watched all of it. But it felt like, because it seems like a concept that will be difficult to stretch over a whole season.
I was going to ask even like, because it's sort of an incident kicks off a grudge or a beef, and like how did those, if they're strangers, how do they keep reconnecting or like
Yeah, I think it's one of those.
They're seeking out each other out to destroy each other.
Sure.
There is a little bit of a like, you know, the universe seems to kind of converge a little bit, you know, in a way.
But it felt like, I think there was a moment in the first episode where it was almost like they saw something in each other where they were like, there's more going on for both of us than what's happening here. But then it was like something pushed them past that, and it was like worse.
That's what I really loved, and I won't spoil it, but the end of the first episode, and it's almost toxic, where you have two negative energies that are bound together, that there, as much as there is hate, there's also a bit of love, where it's just like, oh, fucking hate you, but please don't go, because you're giving me energy for life right now and purpose, where I didn't have it before. And also, if we're talking about like the migrant experience, like obviously, like a Korean Australian, this is a Korean American, Steven Yeun's a Korean American. Like from the get go, I was like, oh, I've lived this life. Like I've lived so much of this life. And then, as like this millennial right now, and like having all these pressures and like all this mental strain, and then it's a very typical thing. We have this thing in Korean called like Han, this Han fire, and it's apparently what we do is it's an actual illness in Korea where we repress our anger and sadness to a point that it makes us physically ill. It's a Korean illness.
Jesus.
But it's like that form of repression, and you see it in that character. It's like, I'm so angry and I can't let it out.
Can I invite you to punch our resident punching man?
Oh, I thought you had a kid.
He's pointing at that. He's pointing at that.
I actually have that kid still from the Mario movie. He's been tied up back.
We dragged him back.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you thought, because I love Ali Wong so much. Like, I don't engage with like heaps of comedy. I feel like I latch onto specific comedians and then obsess. But I feel like I don't broadly consume a lot of it, because I feel like I have a narrow sense of humor. And Ali Wong is one of those comedians that I
didn't buy tickets to your show.
No. Oh, mate. I can't even get my parents to come to my show. Don't you even worry about it.
But like, I feel like Ali Wong, I don't know. I mean, it's also like there aren't a lot of female comedians. And I must have seen a grab of hers on like Netflix when it was like displaying, you know, the little trailer thing. And I've watched all of her stand-up specials like 4 times.
Yeah.
Which is crazy for someone who doesn't consume a lot of comedy. Like, I read her book.
Like, what she does when she's like, how pregnant is she in that stand-up?
She's pregnant in all of them.
Oh, I've only seen one of them, but
she addresses it.
Yeah.
No, but she's like 8.5 months pregnant when she does it.
It's Baby Cobra. Yeah. I think,
that's the one I watch,
I think, but there's just, she gets to the core of stuff that you wouldn't normally talk about, and then kind of fixates on it, and then just goes deeper and deeper. And it's that thing of the audience, because she talks a lot about sex and relationships and stuff. And it's that thing of the audience of like identifying with it and then not wanting to identify with it, but then identifying with it more, and then like recognizing that the people around them are also identifying with it. And it's so good, and she's so great with volume and timing as well. Like,
that's why she's perfect for this role, though. Like literally what you said about identifying with it, relating to it, but also being like, "Oh, that's fucked up." Like I don't want to.
She's done another comedy, but this is an unexpected role for her.
Yeah,
I thought, but I was really impressed.
Do you know if either her or Stephen had like any creative input in it, or is this just like?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because I know it's an A24 joint.
Well,
But
I think Stephen's also directed some stuff at the moment, which has been really experimental and interesting. So I thought maybe he might have had a hand in this, but I'll have to look it up.
Well, the last one I saw him in was Minari, which was like a lot more touching and soft, nice. It was also A24, but it's great to see him flex into this role of like a bitter. Because he's always had that nice guy. Remember Glenn from Walking Dead? This nice guy, really beautiful. Minardi had a bit of anger and resentment there, but he's like a family man.
Yeah.
But this one is just like down in the dirt, really pissed off about everything kind of thing. And I love to see him. Look at his face right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get angry, man.
He's got like he's just shy of licking his teeth.
Yeah.
The fury there.
A little bit of a
And it's like
guessing.
He's got great range.
It looked like sort of 7 or 8 episodes, I think, wasn't it? I don't think it was like a 15 episode kind of thing.
I feel like it's one of those things that might have been a movie, right? And then they were like, let's kind of chop it off and pull it out a bit more.
There's more here.
Yeah, but
cool.
Like in terms of stuff like representation, I really like that. And if you see this in a Stephen Yeun film like Burning, for example, where he plays a Korean man, very pale complexion, which is something that's prized in Korea, like having being pale. But for migrant Korean like communities, migrant Asian communities, especially if you live in America or fucking LA, you're very dark. You're just fucking out all the time.
Yeah.
And like to see that even as well. Like I was watching it with Jill, my partner, and I just commented. I was like, oh, it's good to see some darker Asians or like more representation in that situation, because like that is very underrepresented in mainstream media, like darker like we're talking, it's always like Korean, Japanese, Chinese on screens, but we're talking Filipino, Indonesian, like there's a whole range of like is a big group of people,
cultures, physicality, and all of that.
Like especially in America, like 320 million people. Like I hope, I haven't seen the rest of Beef, but I hope it does bring more of that in, just because like it's cool to see, just to be like, oh, I'm like this.
I feel like there's also this style trend to color grade everything to make everyone look like really contrasty and cooler tones and stuff like that as well, that like removes a lot of the warmth that you kind of want to see from like broader spectrum. I'm excited to see more of
which
this.
is a thing that like, I mean, you know, I don't know how relevant it is to this to Beef, but it's definitely something that Hollywood is getting better and better at over the last decade of, and mostly in particular filming black people, because I mean the classic is that Kodak film was never made to film black people, anyone with a dark complexion at all. And so they couldn't light people, they couldn't capture the tone of the skin.
I was reading an article after I watched Insecure, which is Issa Rae's show, and apparently like they still just had the same system from old Hollywood where they would just get like brown furniture and be like, and they'd use that and be like close enough.
Whoa.
And so that's why like so many, when they'd have black people on screen and stuff.
This is crazy.
Yeah, so when you watch Insecure and
it's
it has some of his
like it's systemic.
his skin is like luminous, and you can see like the way the light reflects off it, and like everyone just looks beautiful in it, and it's like, oh, this is like somebody has actually lit this properly for darker skin, and it's just like such a difference.
That's cool. See, this is what this shit's cool.
It's totally
I'm learning new shit. This is so cool.
Moonlight was a really big driver of that as well. They had a bunch of science tech, color tech on it, just to get the science of the cameras right, to make sure that they were filming.
It's like making up this lost time that they were initially, they were just like,
and things that you're right, they're so systemic because they're just taken for granted. Like that's how the technology, or that's how the industry works now. It's like, hang on, someone stood back and just been like, this is all being
but why did they make it like that?
Exactly.
They still have the same color test from a wardrobe, just being like,
see, it's there's so much cool stuff out there that then we should open ourselves to that range of it, I reckon. So,
totally.
For sure.
Cool. So that's Beef. That's on Netflix. I'll round it out. I jumped onto Apple TV, and the last video game kind of thing is I watched the Tetris movie that came out with Taron Egerton, because I was intrigued on how they were going to turn this into a compelling and interesting narrative. For anyone who doesn't know, and you know, going into this, I knew the story, the sort of quite interesting story of the licensing dramas with Tetris and how it came about and how it came to be on the Game Boy, because basically...
Did you laugh because you were like, oh, the story of the bricks fall?
Yeah, I was sorry. My first thing was like, I thought it was going to be like that Pixel movie or like or the Emoji movie or whatever, where it's just like, where's the story?
Yeah.
Well, I think this has got a bit of a famous. Tetris has a bit of a famous like story that people don't all know about, which is that basically it was created
Can't
by.
be that famous then.
Well, that's kind of it. It's like everyone goes, "Oh, you don't know that there's more to this game," in the sense that it was developed by a developer in the USSR. It was created by a Russian or Soviet Union software developer, which meant that they owned the rights to it. And it was just kind of during the start of the not the start of the Cold War, but it was the collapse of the Soviet Union. And so an American, this character Hank Rogers, played by Taron Egerton, it works for Bulletproof Software, who are the company who own Tetris now. But it was basically him discovering this game and becoming addicted to it and thinking this game is going to be like revolutionary, and it didn't exist in the States yet. And basically, it's his story about getting the rights, the handheld rights, to then sell to Nintendo to package with the Game Boy to make it the success that it was. But that involved going over there, buying rights from people who thought they had it, who were like lying about it. It involves the CEO of Microsoft, who is, I can't remember his first name, something Maxwell, who's Ghislaine or Ghislaine's father. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who was embezzling who was embezzling $900 million of money and died urinating off his yacht while he was about to be arrested. So like that's fucked up stuff to that family. Like that's the story. Yeah.
You don't die urinating off
mysteriously.
But it was mysterious.
Well, they don't know. Could have been murder. Could have been suicide. Could have been like he might
maybe a
still
shark
peed
jumped out and
himself to
grabbed
death.
him.
So essentially,
like Deep Blue Sea.
It could have been one of those insects that goes up the
Up
pee,
the
into
pee.
the penis.
Or an electricity current,
Could have
and
been.
then went up the like a laminar
That's
stream
mysterious.
situation.
That's fucking mysterious.
But turns out there's a lot more drama to this story, and again, that's in the retelling of it. How much of that happened in the sequence and the way it plays out? Who knows? But obviously, this film goes for the overdramatic tellings of it, involving him going over to the USSR, making friends with the developer, basically trying to buddy up with him to get the license and buy it back. The Soviets basically playing off the Americans against each other. So there's quite a lot of interesting aspects to it. The film suffers a bit from, like, I had like tonal whiplash because the film starts itself off going hard on all the video game aspects of it. It's like, it starts with a pixelated title screen that rolls into,
classic.
Like it fades.
That's how I would do it, though, if you're trying to give it a style
That's fine.
treatment.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then every time a character is introduced, a little like player character thing comes up and a little pixelated version of them's there with like year and where they are. The film has level 1, level 2. And that's a cool style treatment to start the story because it's him getting you ready for this crazy adventure of how we got the game. I found that a little on the nose because in particular, there are a couple of just total misfires that are things that like, if there are people who love video games, they're going to pick up on them. One quick gripe is that at the beginning, Taron Egerton's character, Hank, says to the CEO of Nintendo at the time, he's like, Nintendo needs Tetris. Mario needs Luigi. And they show a little clip of Mario and Luigi. And he goes, Zelda needs Link. And they show some footage from Four Seasons, Legend of Zelda 4 Seasons, which came out 25 years later. And they just show that on the screen. And you're like, no, that game's not out for 25 years. And they were trying to keep it all like in context.
Pick that up?
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
That's a pretty big.
And then he says, and Punch Out has whoever Mike Tyson's punching. And they show footage from the Gamer Grumps YouTube channel that had a clip from Punch Out, which they've since come out and been like, you used our footage.
Okay.
So someone
That's
is
pretty
there
sloppy.
someone's there grab bagging video game stuff and kind of throwing it in because there's no, like, holistically, the video game motif doesn't feel very Tetris-y or any one console in particular.
okay.
Sometimes it gets used literally as a pixelated filter over real footage and you're like, I don't like that. Anyway,
okay.
the reason that's a problem is because the middle of the film and moving into the final act is like a hardcore serious contract legal drama film that I fucking loved, that was like really gritty, that was all boardrooms, that was like trying to keep up with how many people have rights and have money and are like lying to each other. And suddenly it turns into quite a gritty, I would say a little bit more serious. Munich, fuck, you're not wrong. It's like, it kind of turns into that. And I was hooked there. I was like, I'm back on board. They take a few of the big leaps at the start. They sort of go for smaller boardroom kind of drama. And then at the end, there's a car chase scene. I'm like, that never happened. It's like, and this car chase scene is happening to Tetris music. And it's all pixelated. And it's them going, we need the final act. Yeah. By then, I was more forgiving. I was like, I think Taron Egerton does
some kid going,
I like that. Yeah, this is an R. This is an MA film.
5 cars like a block and it goes down the road. We got straight line blocks on the way home.
The cast are great. The set design and the costumes for the 70s is fantastic.
People fucking love this kind of period
grim-
right now. It's so
but done in
70s
grim-
and 80s.
Yeah. And done in a grim grey Soviet. Taron Egerton is fantastic in it. I can't
Taron
not love that guy
Looks
now.
great in a mo.
He looks really good in a mo, and he acts he just is this very charismatic character who, is convincing as this guy who had to go over there and do this monumental task of convincing and plant a lot of people. And I by the end of it, I would say overall I had a good time watching it. I would say push through the first 20 minutes and just get to the actual.
Is it very long?
Yeah, I'd say it's in just over an hour and a half or something. It's a
That's
film.
nothing. Yeah, I thought it would be 2 hours.
That's a short film.
An hour and 50, it's hour 45. That's kind of
It's 2.5 hours.
It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours, guys. It's 2 hours.
2 hours? Yeah.
1 hour 58.
Okay, yeah.
There's no film shorter than 2 hours now,
That's true.
except the Mario movie.
Because I keep thinking this is a series. This, to me, feels like it would be a series.
I thought it was. I didn't know it was a film.
It's a feature. And again, if you don't know some of those details, it's quite interesting. You do really have to switch on in the middle and just be focused up and remember names and remember who's bouncing and fucking
That
people
middle
over.
bit sounds so good, though.
It's really good, particularly the stuff with Mirasoft, who were the company who went bankrupt and fucked them over. And there's a really interesting story. And the best part about this was at the end of it, I was watching a lot of people play Tetris and having this have you played this game? And they play it and they're like,
Yeah.
an hour after I stopped playing, I couldn't stop seeing blocks and all that.
Yeah.
I was like, was Tetris like that? I literally fished out my Switch, which has the Game Boy emulator, and played Tetris. I was like, fuck, this game is so good.
yeah,
I installed,
it's perfect video game.
I installed
fucking
Tetris
slaps.
Effect. I now play Tetris Effect competitive or cooperatively with 2 friends on Xbox at the moment playing, and I'm just it is such a fucking
so
great game.
good.
I have 2 versions of it on my phone at the moment.
Yeah.
It just got me into this could it be this good? I'm like, it is this good.
Yeah.
It is still this great
I
of a game.
remember this being one of those games that I played all the time, and I was like, I think I'm good at this.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
you watch other people play it, and you're like, oh.
You should play cooperative Tetris Effect.
I cleared one line.
Cooperative Tetris Effect is fighting against an AI boss.
Will you play it with me?
I will 100% play it with you.
That's
It's
sick.
fucking great.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, I would say at the end of this, and there's also a great little some music motifs that use the Tetris theme, which is
Sure.
obviously that very
Ding, ding,
USSR
ding, ding,
music.
ding, ding,
But
ding.
it's when you hear just certain notes of it, it's dun 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 dun, just under it, and you're like, oh, and then when there's a terrible car chase, but uses it, and you're like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm on board. This is great.
yeah.
When you say terrible car chase, is it terrible because it's tonally wrong for the film, or is it terrible in the way that it's shot?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
It's totally wrong for the film. It is entirely CG. It's trying to be real life, but I think it's just restrictions of how they did it.
And budget.
And then
it sounds
as
like
they're
budget.
doing
If they've
it-
got some dude pulling YouTube clips, then it sounds like they
Yeah.
have some budget.
It's the same guy. It's fuck, I'm so overworked.
He's just like an After Effects guy. Just watch a
I was
tutorial,
watching
man.
it
Come on.
like the first scene where they get confronted.
the game grubs. Oh, fuck. All right, use that.
When they get confronted before they get in the car, they're like, hey, you. And all 3 of them stop, and I'm like, they're all on green screen. And then from there, it was the cars, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And I'm like, this is CG. And then the cars bump into each other and all turn into pixels for a second. And I'm like, oh, they do a little bit of reality distortion.
They're covering it a little
And
bit. Yeah.
I think they decide to be like, hey, let's make it stylized for fun. But I was also like, you're at the real turning point of the film. Make this Ben Affleck film getting the movie out
Argo?
of
Yeah.
Argo?
Argo. Make it
Argo, fuck
Argo.
yourself.
They're literally trying to get it out of the country. Make it them all just trying to get the fuck out. Argo was
Yeah.
stressful because they're just in an airport lounge going, we need to go. Whereas this was go around the truck. And it was they could have, I reckon they could have kept the seriousness.
Did you watch *Halt and Catch Fire*?
Bits of it. I haven't finished it.
Yeah,
Was
similar thing of just there was something about that period of technology that was so exciting, and that people were just doing things that no one understood,
Yeah.
but people who are in the know are like, oh fuck, this is going to change stuff.
Yeah.
And that kind of tension building between,
That's
who's
exciting,
going to,
yeah.
it was really well done. And in the end, it kind of fizzled out, I guess, because there was only so much they could mine that tension for.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And it was there's 3 main brilliant software engineers, and they invented together the internet, web browsers, video games as we know them today with graphics. It's you guys aren't brilliant. No, it's
I invented the internet. Okay.
Yeah, you get 2
Yeah.
seasons of going this little group of people are that amazing, and then by the 3rd season you're like, come on. He's even wearing a turtleneck, and it's come on.
And I will say, it was really sweet as well. I grabbed my old Game Boy Pocket that I had at home, and the one cartridge I have in it is Tetris that I got in 1989 or something. And I did turn it on, and I've stared at this screen 100,000 times, and it goes, blunk, all the text is there, and it's bulletproof software. I'm like, That's his company with his wife that he started, and it's at the start of the movie. I'm like, that's really cool. I just read that a million times, and now I've seen a bit more of the story around it. So I would recommend it. I would actually, I think, just go in with a few grains of salt because it's got some style treatments, but a good film. So that was the Mario movie, Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, Beef, and the Tetris movie that was on other screens, and that was the episode of Back Pocket. That's the end of the show. We're done. Wahoo. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
We did it, everyone.
Harry, thank you so much for making the time to come and hang out with us.
This was so fun.
Thanks
for watching. Wait, who are the? Thanks for watching.
Pleasure to have you on. Also, you mentioned comedy festival stuff that you were doing in Melbourne. Are you doing any more in the Sydney one, or is that all wrapped up?
No, I'm doing May 3rd and May 5th, Factory Theatre, all the shipping containers we're talking about. It's called I Grew Here for the Sydney Comedy Festival at 8 p.m. So if you like comedy and want to see some, maybe I'll see you there. Maybe not.
Dude, go along. Why not? Do it. After this, we have the post show coming up, but we do need to round out the show with the credits that we read to thank our patrons and everyone there. Harry, would you do the honors?
I would love to.
Credit reader?
Could
I make a request?
Voice. Yes.
You can do them in a voice.
Oh.
But could you be joined by a certain
sidekick?
I'm just
hold
thinking.
on. Let me ask Dan.
I love when you referenced Dan Crowd earlier and you're like, Dan Crowd, and he's just face down on the armrest.
I think it was like this. I think it was like that. like just.
Well, if we get your close up, actually, if Josh, if you punch in, what's the best angle to get a Dan angle in it?
Sorry.
Oh, hang on.
Give him
I hope.
So if you hold him up,
Dan enjoys being included in the show in this way.
He doesn't know I took this anyway.
So we'll run to the credits, but I mean, if there's look, he's doing audience interaction. He's good.
Cute.
He's good.
Lick your teeth.
I feel like would it be too far to get a picture of Dan Crowd so the audience can see how much it looks like Dan Crowd?
Well, can we
Let's
maybe
focus on one thing at a time?
Yeah.
I hear poor Josh over there furiously like he wants the punch in and the chat and the grab.
I look.
Sorry, Josh.
Don't worry about the punch in. Don't worry about it.
Yep. Go for it. Harry, take it away, please.
Back Pocket, special thanks to all our patrons, The Mods, Gat, Syntax Error, Liz Dahlia, Sith Cat, Phoenix O'Lion, Disturbed 778, Jex, Caboose, What the Shark, Snail XD, and Lord Shadowbar. Gus Beard Wrangler, Dump Days.
Who's talking when? I'm confused.
Hey Purist and Baker, Honey Bun Bun. Bot Lubricator, We Are Robots. Foot Severer, Moth Captain. Costume Department, Arenchi. Remover of foot from Gus's mouth, Babbling Boffin. Oh my god, what's that? Milner for Williner, Snail XD. Back Pocket Legal Team, BuriBuri. Head Technician, Kane Labos. Blowing Mike is the Scotty Groomer. And Naming Department, Oz Animator. Best Boy, Everray. Worst Boy, EvilSpyBoy. Box Boy, Boxy. Scotty Feeders are Super Studios. Scotty Breeders are Slowpoke. And Scotty Wranglers are Bifrost. Pitch Perfector are MiddleCee. Peter's Cable Guy, Molly. Designer of Worlds, A. Timothy. Steph's Attention Grabber, Daisy86. Community Hot Boy, Nicrotex. And his Hot Boy, the Coastal City. Removal of Sass, Sassless. Executive Show Canceller, Raj. House Band is Muso for Hire. Dinosaur Supervisor is Bill Tippett. Bird Supervisor is LokiCat. There it is. Thank you. And good night.
Amazing. Oh, very good. Thank you to everyone who sponsors the show who made it into the credits there as well. And thank you to Dan, the puppet, for reading the credits. And for now being strangled.
Sorry.
There it is. Lovely work. As we saw at the end of the credits there, shout out to LokiCat who sponsors the post show. Thank you so much, LokiCat, for sponsoring that, as we do every week, because LokiCat is a lover of fine things like scotch and cockatiels. We take it upon ourselves to describe him in the style of some wanky tasting notes, because he loves wanky scotches and whiskies.
We say wanky, but some of these have been beautifully poetic.
All right, well, let's find out. Here we go. This week, LokiCat. On the tongue, LokiCat is richly spiced brambleberry wine and treacle toffee interwoven with chocolate-coated raisins, cinnamon, and lashings of maple syrup.
Oh.
Pair him with an apple cranberry pork chops and roasted... We had this one before?
Can you do this? Can you start over, but can you do it in a Nigella Lawson voice?
Oh. I can try. What is she?
I think they just often pair
posh.
with pork chop.
She's British, so hello, governor.
On the tongue, LokiCat, richly spiced brambleberry wine. He is a treacle toffee and interwoven with chocolate-coated raisins. Oh, yeah, yummy. Cinnamon and lashings of maple syrup. You should pair him up with a delicious apple cranberry pork chops and roasted baby carrots, followed by blackberry and raspberry crumble.
Microwave.
In the microwave, that's yummy and jubbly and stuff. Doesn't she say things like that?
Plumptious beauty.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Lashings of cream.
Lashings. Ooh, lash me. Thank you, LokiCat, for sponsoring the post show. If you'd like to come and join us in the post show, you can do so, but you'll need to sign up on Patreon at the back pocket tier or above. So thank you to all those who are sponsoring us. If you would like to be part of the Patreon and support the show, you can do so by heading to Patreon. The link is in backpocket.gg. You can head over there. You can support the show with as little or as much money as you'd like. And if you can't support the show with as little or as much money as you have, please spread the word of Back Pocket. Get out there and show.
Interestingly worded.
As you have.
We'll take it all.
We'll take it all.
Money.
We will take it all.
We will take it all.
And we'll make you a shitty ad with it.
But we'll also take you spruiking us to your friends and your family and anyone else who you think might enjoy the show who want to come and join us on Thursday nights. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of guests. We have a lot of puppets apparently as well. So try selling. Don't sell them on that.
Or just sharing our stuff, like clips and stuff that we put out, the social videos and stuff that we put out there. The more that you share it, the more people, the more it gets spread.
Share the load. Yeah, spread the show.
Yep.
Getting dicey at the end there.
Spreading and loading.
Oh, we're failing. We're going down. Again, Harry, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you here. Hopefully get back on the show soon.
Oh, I'd love to.
Best luck with ABC Gamer stuff.
Thank you.
Until then, we're going to...
Which is what? It's youtube.com/ABC Gamer.
ABC TV Gamer.
ABC TV
It's on
Gamer.
YouTube.
I went to the YouTube channel today and it was still good game.
What?
Thank you. Good night.